Man City bottle it at home. 3 draws in a row for the title contenders. And it was a very, very bad evening indeed for Pep Guardiola. Haaland and Cherky with some massive chances missed tonight. Also, Chelsea, ill discipline again, costing them big time. Let me just turn up the brightness on this camera. Ill discipline costing Chelsea big time tonight. Cucurella sent off. They lose the West London derby to Fulham. Man United draw 2-2. A weird one for us tonight. I'm disappointed that we didn't win the game. I felt we were the better team by a long way. I really did think we were the better side in that match. If you look at the momentum, if you look at the statistics, 30 shots tonight, 10 on target, 4 big chances. Sesko with a brace, which was very good, but we missed too many good chances. And it was disappointing not to win. 2 goals cleared off the line, a goal disallowed that should have stood. But you know what? With the upheaval of the week, Fletcher flown into the mix. Fletcher did something in this game which Amorim barely did in the space of 13, 14 months. He threw on a youngster that nearly scored a screamer to win it. He threw on attackers for deep line midfielders, and when attack, it had embers of what we used to see with Sir Alex Ferguson. You go for the win. You don't care about losing. You go for the win. We didn't get it done. We know the squad needs a massive overhaul. We know we've still got players out and missing. With Mbumo and Ahmad here, a fully fit Bruno, we probably win the football match. But disappointed to draw. But just, I just feel a little bit more positive after that game, but a long, long way to go for us. There's no doubt about it whatsoever. But look, the big talking point tonight, the big story tonight, City drop massive points indeed. And look, we want to get your views. We want to get your opinions on that. Can't wait to read what you guys have got to say tonight. But after a sort of 24-hour period of City fans talking about Arsenal dropping points and then being ready to pounce, this was always on the cards. And I've got some big takes. I've got some big takes on City later, which are probably not going to go down well in the blue half of Manchester. That's sure. I'm sure of that. They're not going to go down particularly well there. But listen, if you haven't hit the like button yet, get it done. Work on my internet connectivity. I can help you with powerful internet. My internet I've got right now, my upload speed right now is 27 gigabytes. It's not that. It's everything you put for your gaming computer. And plus what I actually need to upgrade is the software that I put my camera through, because it used to be in 1080 and now you have to pay for it to be in 1080. So I've got to get that done. As Tony told me today. But anyway, that's another question. That's another conversation for another day. It truly is. But yeah, what a mad night. And Chelsea, by the way, the Newcastle Leeds game is still on. 2 minutes to go in that 3-3 in that game. So many draws at the moment in football. Have you noticed that? So many draws in football. Spurs losing tonight. Semenyo with a last minute goal. And look, United have drawn their last 3 games, but it's still only 2 points off of 4th place. I think Liverpool will lose tomorrow. But I'll be honest with you, I can't lie. Looking at these last 3 games for Man United, we really should have been winning a couple of them and putting ourselves into a stronger position for the interim to come in. But we showed tonight we can play a little bit of football as well. And some people think the league is weak. It isn't. It's strong. There's no easy games. It's hard to win. Every team has talent. Every team has match winners. This is a very, very high level. It takes me back to the 90s. It takes me back to the noughties. We're getting back to absolute peak Premier League football. We truly are. Let's have a look at some of your comments that have come through here this evening. Pep bottled again. The game has left him behind. Sesko with 7 on target, more than any striker this season in a single game. But Scammering was the scapegoat. Well, he scored 2 goals, and his header that was saved. I'm not going to blame him for not scoring that header. There was a couple of tame efforts that were poor, and there was a scuff one towards the end. But what's that? I mean, how many shots did he have in total tonight? I don't know the answer to that question. But he scored 2 goals. I'm not going to sit here and blast him for not scoring 3, 4, 5. But Amorim isn't the scapegoat. Amorim isn't the only reason that Man United are where they are. Some Man United fans will say that, but they're delusional. For me, Man United are where we are because of a combination of issues. However, what I will say is this, and I'm not talking too much Manchester United tonight because I'm just not in the headspace for it. But what Darren Fletcher did tonight was things we didn't see enough from Ruben Amorim. Okay, firstly, first half, couldn't get Bruno into the game because Burnley stifled the middle. So what did he do? He moved him onto the right-hand side, not to be an out-and-out winger, but to create a little bit more space to move Burnley across. As soon as that happened, you saw the space open up and you saw more opportunities for Man United almost instantaneously. How often would you see either players moved into new positions in the last 6 to 12 months with Amorim or a slight adjustment? We didn't see it enough. Then what he did when we needed to score goals, we didn't deliver, but the manager did. Listen, he's not even a coach. He's not even a top manager. He's not even managing first team football before. But what did he do? Took off Casemiro, took off Ugarte, put on attackers, threw on Shea Lacey, who almost scored maybe Man United's goal of the season. You give it a chance and you give it a go. And you know what? If Amorim would have done that on a more regular basis, there would have been far more United fans backing him, because people go on about there's no such thing as the United way. It's only because you don't see it as different to maybe your club, or you don't feel that it's different to your club, but it's us speaking. And that's what we're meant to do in games where we're drawing, games where we're behind, is you go for broke in those moments. Some clubs do it, some clubs don't. If your club does it, brilliant. That's your way as well. But it isn't about scapegoats. It's about an honest conversation. Amorim wasn't to blame for everything, no way, shape or form. I went in on these players a lot. But he didn't do what Fletcher did tonight as regularly as he should have done. How cold is it today, Terry? Yeah, they'll be crying their eyes out today, won't they? I'm calm about United, decent performance, but all I'll say, if this was Amorim still in charge, people would be screaming their heads off. They would, Patrick, about the result, but you've got to understand, Fletcher's had a day and a bit with the players. There's been upheaval for the players. They're still feeling that remnants of things. Ideally, what you'd have liked today to have been was 2 or 3 extra days of training and at Old Trafford. Ideally, you'd like the first game with the new manager to be, but we'll get that. Oh, wow. Newcastle have just won it. Newcastle have just won it. Harvey Barnes. Wow. 2 minutes over the 10, though. 2 minutes over the 10. Crazy scenes there at St. James's Park. Crazy. But yeah, look, as I say, I'm not part of the Amorim out crew. Although I thought he had to go, there's definitely mentality issues with these Man United players. We're brilliant up. We were 1-0 down, brilliant until we went 2-1 up, and then sat off again. And there's Darren Fletcher screaming at them to get up the other end. That's only going to be solved in the recruitment market, in my personal opinion. But I do hear where you're coming from. Chelsea nearly won 1-1 again today. Look, I feel a bit for Chelsea. Because, how do I say this in the right way? I feel for Chelsea because they started the game and were the better team. I don't think Chelsea were brilliant. I don't think they were amazing. They had slightly more of the ball. They had some really good opportunities from set pieces. Fulham weren't doing anything, though, and that's a really important bit. Fulham were just being nullified every time they went forward. And then one long ball over the top. Cucurella has a brain fart moment, drags Harry Wilson down when there is absolutely zero need to do it. Even if he goes through and scores, you've got a long time left to recover. Rightful red card, no denying it, 100% a red card. And he put his team under the cosh. And then I would say for a long period of that, the rest of that first half, Chelsea were far too easy to play against with 10 men. First part of the second half, far too easy to play against with 10 men. Fulham score, and we got on about mentality a minute ago with Man United. Fulham score, and then they just kind of sit off. And then Chelsea start playing brilliantly. They're counter-attacking well. They're creating opportunities, and they rightfully get back into the game. Delat misses a really good opportunity. A minute or so later, there's a corner. It hits the post. He taps it in, and Chelsea are back in the game. But then Fulham turn on the afterburners again. And one thing, advice I would give to Chelsea is very simple. Chelsea need to start doing a lot of drills with 10 men, because there's something about when a team puts pressure on them when they've got 10 men, they just don't know how to sit in and cope. They really, really don't. So I felt a bit for Chelsea tonight because Cucurella let them down. Cucurella let them down, and that's really it. I'm not going to go in on the caretaker manager. What's the point? That isn't right. I'm not going to do a full autopsy. They haven't got Liam Rosenior in yet. I feel a little, they lost, which is disappointing for them. But I feel a little bit in this situation like I do with Man United. There are things tonight I'm frustrated about, but with the upheaval, with it being a caretaker manager, for me, it's not as serious a conversation. But now Liam Rosenior's got to get hold of this team quickly. He's got to start getting them playing. And he's got to sort that discipline element out. He really, really does. He's got to sort the discipline of his team out. No doubt about that, because it is really nowhere near the standard it should be. Let's have a little look here. Great content this last year, Terry. Thank you, Sam. Was cold again in Manchester. Keep up the great work, Terry. Thank you, Liam. One game at a time. Come on, you Gooners. City and Villa drop points. City. I didn't even know the Villa result. I don't even know the Villa result. Genuinely. What was the score in their game? Oh, 0-0. Yeah, I didn't even see the score in that game. That's a crazy one. Absolute crazy one, that. Oh, wow. Newcastle, with that win, they got up to 6 in the league. I knew Newcastle would sort themselves out. That's the maddest bit. With Man United's last 3 draws, with Newcastle winning all those games, they now got up to 6. I knew Newcastle would sort themselves out this season. They were performing far too well to stay where they are. And their next game is Wolves, by the way, who themselves are not on a little run, but their next game is Wolves at away. But I think they'll win that, to be fair. It could be 4 wins on the bounce on Newcastle, and they're starting to move towards those Champions League places. Gabby in, Gabby out, Gabby in, Gabby out is what's been said here. I don't really know what that's about. Football gods came at City fans. I just pray they don't come at us tomorrow. Too much big mouth Arsenal fans. Respect the opponent no matter what. To our prayers, rivals, this is your king. City are 1 loss away from a title collapse. Maybe we should only score corners and own goals to make it fair. City bottled it 3 times in a row. Now I couldn't be any certain that Arsenal will definitely win the league. Lacey reminds me of a young Wazza, fearless. Yeah, I liked it. I maybe would have preferred him to come on a little bit sooner, if I'm going to be uber critical. As soon as he had that opportunity, you know, it's that Burnley just sat in and gave us no. So they were like, can't give this kid space because he'll hurt us. But you see that little moment, he had them 2 good shots. He can beat a man. And you're thinking, all those times he was on the bench when we needed to win games and he didn't get a second. Crazy. Shown we've been due to players could play football. Just had a dummy coach for 14 months playing defensive football. Fletcher is 1 game and showed more intent to win than he did. And I don't think non-Man United fans understand this, and it isn't their job to understand it. And we don't need validation from them. We don't need their understanding. We don't need them to say we get it. We have to understand it as Man United fans. It's that lack of intent, that lack of going for broke. I don't like drawing games. But you know what? If we'd have gone with that mentality into more games this season, I think we have 3 or 4 more wins. Easily, I think we have 3 or 4 more wins and are in a Champions League spot. Just if we went in with that intent in a game. Frank gets sacked for drinking from an Arsenal cup. Yeah, I saw that. Is it actually true? Did it actually happen like people are saying? Or am I being a little bit crazy when I say that? Because I don't know. I think I've done a lot of your super chats here. Maybe not all of them. I think I've done quite a few. I think I've done all the super chats. Make sure you've liked and make sure you've shared and make sure you've subscribed. But look, I want to speak, as we've done a big intro, I want to speak on Manchester City because it was the biggest game tonight. The fact, again, the Premier League has put all the games on tonight. How comes they couldn't do 2 or 3 yesterday and another one tomorrow night at the same time as Arsenal? And then scaled it down a little bit tonight. Because although they put it on all the channels that now in England, so you can watch them all, you can't watch them all. You can't even concentrate on more than 2 or 3. It's absolutely crazy that they do that. But I want to speak on Manchester City, and Arsenal have broken them. This last week to 10 days, Arsenal have broken Manchester City. The pressure that Arsenal applied by winning games, and I want to go back to something here. the pressure that Arsenal applied by winning games they weren't amazing in, winning games by hook or by crook. As I said to every gunner that tuned into this show at the time, trust me, when you click back into gear, which was always more likely than falling off, these wins are going to feel amazing. As someone who's lived through so many close title races, those games are actually the ones when you look back where you go, wow, amazing. And what it done is, yes, it pushed City, and City are a very good team. I don't think City are crap. I don't think City are horrible. I think they're a very good team that can still win other trophies. There's still an outside chance of the Premier League, but it's getting wider each game. And they pushed really hard in that fairly long winning run they were in. And they narrowly beat Leeds and narrowly beat Fulham. But then they had three really good results in a row where they beat West Ham 3-0, Brentford 2-0, and Palace 3-0. Sunderland 3-0 as well. So they had four good results on the bounce in the league, I'm talking here. But if you watch those games, barring Palace, there was still a lot of frailties where you went, oh, teams can get in here and score. Teams can hurt them. But what you had was Haaland scoring, Foden delivering, Cherky on fire, Reinders stepping up with goals. Then they had the Nottingham Forest game that was a lot closer. And as the PGMOL yesterday admitted, Diaz should have had a red card. That, for me, would have changed the complexity and the result of that game. But it was almost as if City got through that period, through December, looked and went, bloody hell, Arsenal haven't crumbled yet. And they've gone into these last three games, and there's been a different air, a different feeling, a different emotion, a different condition to this team. And it's one that I think... I want to make sure I say this in the right way. 1 second. I've just got a problem here with the sound, my end. Bear with me a second, people. Sorry. Hopefully that's resolved it. But yeah, it hurt them. It really, really hurt them. Hang on, let me just get this sorted here. So yeah, sorry, that's better now. And Arsenal have broken them. Arsenal continuing to win when they maybe didn't deserve to, or maybe weren't at their best. It's broken them. City have gone into these last couple of games and they haven't looked at their best. It's like they're feeling the pressure, almost as if they were having to operate at over 100% in that winning run, hoping that in that point Arsenal would slip up so they had some comfortability. Maybe Arsenal would break first. Maybe Arsenal would fall away. And that hasn't happened. Now Arsenal have this magnificent chance to go 8 points clear with a home win over Liverpool. And at 8 points, 21 games into the season, with a City team that looks fragile, with a City team that has 2 cup games to come and then has to go away to Manchester United. And listen, we don't know what the feel-good factor is going to be like at Old Trafford. We may have some of our players back from AFCON. Who knows what it's going to be like? But it's a derby. It can be a leveler. They go into that game under immense pressure, and they play before Arsenal because it's a 12:30 kickoff. So it will be before Arsenal. The next time a Premier League ball is kicked, City go first, and they have to win. If Arsenal apply that pressure tomorrow night and go 8 points clear, they have to beat Man United, because otherwise they'll be presenting Arsenal with a chance to go anywhere between 10 to 11 points clear 22 games into the season. The pressure is now catching up with them. On City, before I come back to the Arsenal element of this title race, on City today, they were the better team. I would say over the course of the 90 minutes, they were the better team. Whether you watch with your eyes, whether you look at the momentum, whether you go and review the stats, 22 shots to 6. 4 big chances to 2. But the one thing that was constant in this game was the threat from Brighton. Brighton should have gone 2-0 up early in the game. They had 2 brilliant chances, catching City off guard. Then City took over, were the better team. But it was another game where City had the chances, but failed to deliver, failed to execute. They were nowhere near, nowhere close to, absolutely miles away from their usual high standards. the opportunities missed in this game by Haaland and by many others, absolutely crazy, genuinely crazy. Haaland today with 8 shots, 4 of them on target, only scored the penalty. That's it. Cherky, he came on later in the game, but some big opportunities. Shanks left. It was like watching Prison Break. Shanks everywhere today from him. Reinders, poor with the shots. And overall, the attackers at City again today, as a collective, nowhere near where they should be. Foden, invisible for large parts of this game. Silva, invisible for large parts of this game. Yes, they had the ball, they had the possession, they had the territory, but it was either the final pass or the final shot today. It's mesmerizing that City didn't score 4 or 5 goals. But why were they snatching at the shots? Why were they getting caught off guard? Why were they looking this vulnerable? Well, it's one of 2 things. The squad building hasn't been good enough. The injuries have, of course, taken their toll. There's no doubt. I'm not going to speak differently about City than I do other teams. The injury crisis has hurt them. The midfield they've built, yes, very good on the ball, but it isn't that strong out of possession. They get caught with counter-attacks. A player that doesn't get mentioned a lot, who used to stop a lot of teams countering against them, they've lost that recovery speed of Kyle Walker, who just was a little bit of a cheat code in that regard. And what the board haven't done well enough for Pep is build him a good enough squad to cope with the injuries, to cope for the first time in the Premier League, the best league he's played in. It's the hardest season that Pep has played in. So many hard games, home and away, so many teams with killers, so many teams with match winners. Even the sides in relegation can hurt you and have match winners, have players that you go, I wouldn't mind taking him. He'd be a good squad player. Oh, he looks dangerous. When we're looking at Burnley, Wolves, all these teams, you've got West Ham down the bottom. Who wouldn't look at Bowen for their squad? You can play this game. You go through all the teams down there. All their teams have got dangerous men. It's not always been like that. So City haven't given Pep a strong enough squad to cope with the quality of this league. And I don't blame Pep per se for that. He's adapted. He's created solutions that have made them a far more competitive team. He's going to finish in the top 4. They're still a very good side, but they don't look like a great side right now. And then on top of that, you add the mental pressure. And as I said to Arsenal fans, maybe 5, maybe 6 weeks ago in that period, maybe games ago, it actually feels like it's been weeks, but actually there's a lot of games in December. When there was scraping past Wolves and scraping past this team and scraping past that team, so you guys have got to relax. I've been in more title races than I've had at dinners. Many years ago, of course, but I remember them vividly. Those narrow wins, those champions wins, feel great on nights like tonight. Will feel even better if Arsenal can apply themselves and beat Liverpool tomorrow night. Because it's what's put the pressure on this City team and is making them crumble. They're having to work at optimum level. They're having to work at a rate that the squad can't cope with, and they're crumbling. And the machine, the monsters that are Arsenal right now, appear to just be far too much for them. Far too much for them. You add those things in. The injuries, of course, taking their toll. Injuries are a real reason why teams' levels drop. Anyone who says otherwise, I'll be honest with you, you're either doing this kind of macho-y, Andrew Tate-y sort of, oh, I don't do excuses in life. Even if I get mugged in the street, it's my fault. Weirdos, okay? Injuries are a real reason teams drop backwards. The squad build by City has been nowhere near good enough in the last 2 to 3 years. It's a very good team, but it isn't a great team. And that pressure by Arsenal has hurt. And I saw a City fan today say, all we've got to do is win one game when Arsenal drop points and it's all in our hands again. And I sat there and thought, this is what's crazy. Even City fans who have been the most successful club, fans of the most successful club of the last decade, falling off a little bit can make everybody go Delulu. Makes everybody go a little bit, woo! What planet are you living on? Arsenal might lose games. You are still going to drop points. And that's the point. Even if Liverpool get a draw tomorrow, it's back where we are. So, look, Gahey might come in. The City are going to throw money at this now. Gahey's going to come in. But I want to call out Man City for a moment, because if this was Man United, if this was Chelsea, if this was Arsenal, the world and his dog would be going crazy. The world and his dog would be going in. The world and his dog would have a hell of a lot to say about what I'm about to bring up now. And that is, can you imagine not signing Semenyo on the 1st of January? What would be labelled at Man United? What would be labelled at at Chelsea? What would be labelled at Arsenal is, you're not serious. How have Man City allowed Semenyo to play 1, 2, 3 more games for Bournemouth, risking injury in that period? He's banged in a winner today against Tottenham when you needed him. When Man City have needed another player to score them goals and to help win them games, the man they have turned to, the man they are spending 65 million British pounds on, is Semenyo, who has played 90 minutes in the last 3 games for Bournemouth, where he would have been a huge impact player. In fact, you could have won your last 3 games. Now, you couldn't have had him for the 1st of January. That's fair. That's too soon. But you could have had him for the Chelsea game to kill the game off. You could have had him today to kill the game off. But you haven't got it done. The reason I'm really calling it out is whether people like City or not, whether they think they're cheats or not, and that's another conversation for another day. They're normally so serious. They're normally so professional in that way. And they've allowed Semenyo to keep playing. I mean, he didn't. He actually had a brilliant game, won the match, last kick of his career at Bournemouth. Well done to him. Good luck at City, to the individual. But he shouldn't have been a Bournemouth player today. Should have been at the Etihad, helping his new team win 3 points. He's going to City to win trophies. I'm sure maybe this season even, it'll win trophies. Definitely in the next 2 to 3 years. It's unlikely that City will go 3 or 4 years without winning a trophy. But you brought him in, and you're maybe 1 loss and a couple of Arsenal wins away from being out of the title race. But you're bringing him in to help win the league. It feels almost a little bit like the horse has bolted before you've shut the doors. But look, Brighton, some would say they're not valued for their draw tonight, but I think they actually defended quite well. Great saves when they need to be happening. Great blocks. Well done to them. Arsenal now, tomorrow night. Take it home. Take it home and make it an 8-point gap. Make it an 8-point gap. Almost put Man City to bed. Like, share, and subscribe. Hit the hype button for us, please, people. City bottling it. Got some more of your super chats that have come through here. I'm not sure who's coming on the panel tonight. Hamza did arrive for a moment and disappeared. KJ, if you let everyone know, but we're kind of ready to start bringing people through now. If you're Spurs or if you're Newcastle, it's going to be later in the show, just to let you know, more likely than not. This here, there we go. Where are these super chats at? Josh here says, what a competitive league this year is the Premier League. Chelsea have been annoying the shit out of me. Couldn't connect more than 3 passes, is what Josh says here. I bet they will kill the set piece goals or own goals. Kill for a set piece goal or an own goal. I bet they would. Did you see Thomas Frank was pictured drinking out of an Arsenal cup right before the match with Bournemouth? That's crazy. Why would you do that? It's so weird. How cold was it in Manchester tonight? Freezing by the looks of it. How cold was it in Manchester tonight? There's a lot of people are saying that on the show. The Emirates is going to be mad tomorrow night. Yeah, the atmosphere is going to be crazy. The atmosphere is going to be electric. Weak league, have it back. No one wants top four. It's not that no one wants top four. It's that everybody keeps taking points off each other. Everybody keeps taking points off each other. But you know it's a tough league because there are lots of teams in the league that can take and have taken points off Arsenal, and more will do it still. But Arsenal will be one of the best teams in Europe. It demonstrates the quality of the league. Anyone playing it down is just scared of Arsenal. Is it not over? Big game for us. Come on, you Gooners. It's not over yet. And I think if Arsenal start thinking like it's over, that's where there might be a sting in the tail. You've got to go into the game with full intensity, full commitment, no complacency. Kill it off. You could seriously kill it off. You could put yourselves 8 points clear of both Aston Villa and City tomorrow and put yourselves, what? That would be nearly, you're already 14 points ahead of, that'd be 17 points ahead of Liverpool, who some fans thought were still going to catch you, to be fair. I'm happy with the results today, but it's up to us to do the job versus Liverpool. Arsenal fans need to big up the team from minute 0 to minute 90. Up the focus. Come on, you Gooners. Prediction, Rice to surpass Gerrard tomorrow. Well, that's impossible tomorrow. Gerrard won multiple trophies, Champions League, etc. City bottled it 3 times in a row. Now I couldn't be any more certain that Arsenal will definitely win this league now. Come on, you Gooners. They've got a great chance. Absolute great chance. Just broke my leg between watching for years now. Big ups. Just broke my leg. Oh, shit. Get well soon, mate. Get well soon. I thought you meant literally as you're watching. I was like, well, that's crazy that you're super chatting. Call a taxi. Content getting me through it. Can't wait for the Arsenal game. I bet you can't, mate. Did you see Thomas? Yeah, I've seen the pictures. I thought they were fake. I can't believe they're real. What a moron. What a mug. That's a sackable offence. At the end of the day, I forgot Burnley's first goal was so unlucky tonight. Look, I'll be honest with you. Like I've already said about United, I haven't done too much in depth tonight because it kind of is what it is. We played quite well in large parts. We were very unlucky with the first goal that was conceded in terms of the deflection. Their second goal was poor defending. Outside of that, we probably should have scored more than 2. I was happy with Sesko. He demonstrated what he can do in front of goal. We had 2 cleared off the line, 2 or 3 great saves, hit the bar, had a goal wrongfully disallowed for a little push in the back of Walker. But I thought Ekatike versus Spurs, I thought pushes were okay. So, yeah, look, a little unlucky. I'd have loved to have got the win today. But with the upheaval of the week, with everything changing for the players, Fletcher never having managed, good intent, like we go on to the Brighton game at the weekend, and hopefully we can start picking up some victories and we get a little bit more clarity about what's going on moving forward. Mental Arsenal could be 11 points of City and Villa before Sunday. No, there's no Premier League games this weekend. So you can go 8 points clear if you win tomorrow, but then there's FA Cup this weekend. And then City play first. City play first against Manchester United at the 12:30 kickoff on the Saturday, I believe. I'm only going by what it says on here. I think it's a Saturday game. 12:30 the 17th. I think the 17th is a Saturday. Is it a Sunday? I don't know. I assume it's a Saturday. What we at 10 days from now? Sounds like a Saturday. Yeah. So that'll be an interesting one because I think that puts more pressure on City. It makes it even more must win as they present you an opportunity. So, yeah, crazy. Look, we're going to be bringing the panel up. We've got Andrew coming on. We've got Cameron. We've got Ash and Kane, who are obviously very, very happy with their team winning 3 in a row now. Listen, I did say this to a lot of our viewers. I was telling people for weeks, don't ignore the league. And as much as I had a little bit of banter, Newcastle just weren't as bad as their league position suggested all year. It was always going to... And what's helped Newcastle is just loads of other teams drawing and slipping up. If you actually look as well at the teams placed from 4th in the table, that's... down to sort of 15th, 16th. You actually look at the last 3 games, barring Newcastle and Brentford, who have won 3 and 2 games respectively, there's barely any wins. It's nearly all draws and losses for that team in the mid-block. So winning 3 on the bounce whilst everybody else is drawing and losing changes the complexity. They've got Wolves next. I think they'll win that game, even though Wolves are actually playing quite well at the minute. That's the disappointing bit for me. The only disappointing bit with the draw today for me is that there's extra 2 points would have put us 4th. Going into the FA Cup weekend, because I think Arsenal lose tomorrow. You go into the FA Cup weekend and you're sort of like, okay, well, we're fourth. But listen, loads of trials and tribulations to go this season. Let's see what happens. All right, to start bringing people out to have their say on the show now. If you haven't done so yet, like, share, and subscribe. Let me move myself over. KJ's here with me, Andrew, Cameron, Ash is here, Kane is here as well. Welcome, gents. We've got Dayo on the show. We've got Elijah as well. Welcome back to the show. Elijah, you all right, mate?
No, Terry. No. Terry, I'm going to say this to you right now. It's over. Chelsea's season is officially over, yeah? We are fucking finished, yeah? Brentford, who by the Keith Andrews, is above us. They are fifth in the fucking league, yeah? Fifth. And we are now officially eighth because Newcastle won as well, yeah? This club is an absolute disgrace. And you see Cucurella, yeah? You see you. You are an absolute idiot. What on earth were you thinking, yeah? What on earth were you thinking? How dare you decide to think that firing Harry Wilson was the right thing to do? You caused this, yeah? You have let Chelsea down with that stupid red card. And once again, Terry, this is the seventh red card of the season. Seven. Ooh. 5 red cards, by the way, in the Premier League. We are one, yeah, red card away from equaling the 07-08 season, which was 6. We are one red card away. We have seriously got a discipline issue, and it's an absolute joke. And this is why I say to you that we are finished, because we every time we get a red card, Terry, our heads go down. Our heads simply go down because Cole Palmer, Caicedo, and Tosin decides to have forgotten the referee. I'm sorry, that is a clear red card because he was denying Harry Wilson a good opportunity. It's an absolute disgrace. And you see, let me tell you something, Terry. You see this shirt, yeah? I bought this season. And this will be the last time, yeah, I will spend money on buying a shirt, because I'm not spending any money on this fucking club anymore, because we are a joke. We are embarrassing. We are an absolute disgrace. We are no serious club anymore. We are not. And I hope Lewis Senior, yeah, does well for Chelsea, because this is a joke. I do not see us getting Champions League, win the Carabao Cup, win the FA Cup, and winning the Champions League, because there's no chance of that happening. I wish Lewis Senior the best of luck, and I hope he fixes, because right now we are in a mess, and I'm sick and tired of repeating myself week in a count, because it's the shames, Terry, every fucking week that I have to experience this. Red cards, losses, 3 points, Terry, of the last 15 out of 15. No wins in 5 ever since that 2-0 win against Everton. No wins in 5. And we got Brentford next on next Saturday. And if we lose that game, we could be 12th. We could potentially be 12th at the end of match day 22. Jesus. I don't hear no fans saying, it's Enzo Maresca's fault, or it's and that. No, the players ain't good enough, and the sport directors and the people upstairs have caused this. So the only way to fix this is to whip it up and start again, because the project is a failure. Everything's a failure. This club is rotten. We do not have the quality. The mentality is in the bin. We are going nowhere. Yeah, absolutely nowhere. So this is where I got to say this, Terry. It is done. I do not see us finishing in the top 5, no Champions League, no trophy whatsoever. And this is going to be the worst season once again under the stupid ownership yet again. And that is it. Yeah, absolute disgrace. Cucurella, embarrassing. You know, just everyone on that pitch was an absolute joke. It's just a joke, man. Like, losing to Fulham is an absolute disgrace. It really is. And now Fulham on the same points as us. And Man United are now above us, even though you didn't guys win. That's even a joke. Man United have been awful this season and now been above us. Let that fucking sink in, people, because it's an absolute joke and I had enough of it. Get rid of the sport directors, get rid of the players, just get rid of the project, just get rid of anything, because I'm done.
Mate, I hear the passion and the frustration, because, and this is the worry, the pressure now on Leon Rosenior to start delivering is massive. Because look, listen, by the way, exactly the same for us. But our new full-time coach isn't coming until the summer. And as much as we need to improve, we need to win games. And I'm not saying it's okay for us. We've got no free hits in that regard. We know another coach is coming. And the club are promising it to be a good one. We'll wait and see. If you don't, my view is if you don't work with Liam Rosenior, what are you going to do next? Gary O'Neill? He's in the succession plan now. He's at Strasbourg.
I don't get this club, Terry. I just do not recognize this, and this club is not going anywhere near forward. And the question is, what do we do now? What do we do? Because I don't see us spending in January. I don't see us getting a proper manager. What are we supposed to do? And this is why that 1-1 draw against Man City was nothing, and they didn't celebrate the Enzo Fernandez goal. Because I knew if we don't win today, that we might look like an idiot for celebrating Enzo Fernandez goal, and then realize that we lost today. It's a joke. So for me, 0 wins in 5. We got Brentford next, and we got Charlton this Saturday. And we got away from home. And you know what they are? They won the championship, and we got away from home. So I'm not confident in that game at all.
Mate, listen, I hear it, and at least you're here. Well, I don't know where the rest of the Chelsea fans are. Obviously, Andrew's here. I've not forgot about you twice in one day, Andrew. I know you're here. Do you know what it is? It's because you're here. You like the furniture. I'm talking about the Johnny come latelys when you win. Do you know what I mean?
Like a stray cat. That's what I am.
Yeah, I mean, how disappointing. I mean, do you echo what Elijah's saying here?
Yeah, I'm not going to shout because that would mean I put more passion and effort than these spoiled, entitled brats of players that we have. Just want to say, all those Maresca outers, was it still all Maresca? Or was it these players? They strolled around the pitch. They put in half-hearted efforts. I know we're down to 10 men, but something's got to be said. Cole Palmer's been shit since he's got back from injury. It's not talked about a lot. Caicedo's been shit the past month. That Man City performance is not the real Chelsea. This performance against teams like Fulham is the real Chelsea. Because they're big-time Charlies. They don't have them. Talent can only get you so far, but when they buy someone, when you buy a young player, it doesn't tell you what type of mentality they have. They are poor. These players are the worst collective group of players for mentality this club has ever seen. They just turn up and think they can just collect a check and just stroll around. That nothing will happen. There's no pressure from me on Liam Rosenior because he's on a loser. He's on a loser to nothing. There's no expectations at this club for me. There's no enjoyment. There is nothing at this club. We are not going to be in the Champions League next season. It's obvious they don't like pressure, Terry. They love being the underdogs. They they want all the plaudits but no limelight. They want all the limelight, but they don't want it. They don't want it. They just don't want it. They're just not fighters. There's no fighters here. I don't care if they're your favourite player. I'd get rid of the fucking lot of them because they're a disgrace to that shirt. They really are. They're a disgrace. Honestly, and that's what you get with the whole thing. But these players have been getting away from it for everything. Everyone's been focused on the manager and the board and the ownership, no problem. But these players have been getting away from it for nearly like 3 years now. These players have been together, some of them, and they're just rubbish. And Neto, oh my God, again, poor. The lad, yeah, he scored, but he just wants to F5 everyone like Brock Lesnar in the box. Honestly, the tossing gets played again. I actually thought the subs we had a good 15-minute spells, and I think the subs actually they stopped our momentum a bit after that because we seemed to just go back in our shell. It's just poor. And you know what? They don't deserve to be in the Champions League places. They don't deserve it. To see real change, I want us to go out of everything this month. I swear. I want to go out of the FA Cup. I don't want to progress in the League Cup. I want out of the Champions League. I want it all out. Honestly, they don't deserve it. There's no point. There's just no point on it whatsoever. And the away fans did. The away fans were chanting about clearly for some point in the match, but stop chanting Roman Abramovich's name all the time. Just chant Bokovic Bali or whatever. Just chant that for 90 minutes. Roman Abramovich, stop chanting Roman Abramovich. He's not coming back. He's not allowed in the country. For Christ's sake, it's ridiculous. But honestly, just poor.
It is funny when when you break it down like that, the man you want to come back just not allowed in England.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna happen. Do you know what I mean? So, and I do get the sentiment towards him, but listen, I hear you, mate. And look, my club's in a state at the minute as well. We've got loads of problems going on, and I'm not here. I'm not here trying to act like we're great and you're not. But we're grown ups. We can have conversations in isolation of one another. I get the pain that Chelsea fans are feeling. I get where they're at, like mentality wise, with all of this right now, and I see it. And I get your point. I don't think with Liam Rosenior, there's almost this element of there is an element of a bit of a free hit for him, because none of you really back him, none of you really think he's good enough, and it's this element of it's this sort of element of, well, he's probably going to fail anyway, and that's a horrible play. I don't know about I'm a bit like this as a United fan at the minute. I was saying this to KJ the other day that I don't really feel that excited about anything, which is why I know we didn't win today. With what Fletcher did, I was like, well, that's just at least what I want to see. A manager that goes for it. We try and win games. We attack, and you've got to have at least a bit of that about you. Do you know what I mean?
Can I just say? I'm sorry to say this. I'm sorry to go back to in the past, but I felt the same when Avram Grant took over. But but we had players then. We had real players then.
Yeah.
Who managed themselves. Like I felt the same when I didn't feel the same when AVB went because he was rubbish. But when Di Matteo took over, I had the same sort of feeling, right? Like, just go to the end of the season. But we still had players there that had it there.
Yeah.
And you can, like I said before, you can buy the talent of players, the stats could be off the chart, but you don't know how good a player is if they don't have it up there. Well, how are they good with adversity? You know what I mean? And this has been happening since under Poch, basically. Everything, they just, honestly, and some of this fan base needs to wake up. When I'm on the same panel and people are going, I expect us to finish third. Why? Why do you expect us to finish third? We're not good enough to finish third. We're the best inconsistent team in the league. I don't know how we are still only 2 points off of fourth or whatever it is, and we're in eighth. This just boggles my mind, but that's a separate issue. But other Chelsea fans need to wake up and realise these players aren't as good as what you think they are. Because the talent's not going to get them on there. The mentality is more important for me.
More important, yeah.
It's more important, and they don't have it. They don't want it. They don't want it. They want their hands held. You know what I mean? They want to be patted on the head. And this is not, and the age thing's not working for me anymore. There's 24, 25, 26, 27-year-olds. Cucurella's an idiot. He's 27. Just let him go through and shoot. I know it's natural that players want to stop it and do a last-ditch tackle. But why don't players be smarter about it and go, just let him have a shot? We don't know if he's going to score. Even if you go 1-0 down, at least you have 11 men. At least you've got 11 men, you can get back into it. Just let him go through. That's what Trevor Chalobah did against Brighton. Sanchez did against your mob. Just let him go through. Just let him go through and score and try and get it back. Honestly, just pathetic. The whole lot of them.
No, I hear you. I hear your frustration in what you're saying there. Dayo, you've got a chance to go 8 points clear, mate.
Yeah, sorry, my kids are here just making a lot of noise. Go away, all of you.
By the way, that's how real parents speak to their kids. None of this. Oh, do you want to decide what you want to wear today, Tarquin? No,
nobody has time for that in this house. They know the rules. Just pack yourselves away. Hey, sorry. Oh yeah. Hey, look. Tomorrow is going to be one of our toughest games. I say this again. We're playing the defending champions. Let's be realistic. That's what it is. That's the way we should approach it. That's the way we should go into that game. It's not a game where we should think, oh yeah, you know what, it's already done. It's not done. It's 8 points. If we win, but right now it's still 6 points originally. So, but this just gives us a chance to be able to go 8 points clear. There's a group I'm in, and I predicted that by the end of January we should be 8 points ahead of City and 12 points ahead of Chelsea. And I think we've achieved the Chelsea one. The City one is the next goal. Even that 8 points will still be very, very difficult, regardless of how many points it is for us. So yeah, I think that the only difference. I was going to say I'll come back to you in a sec, bro. I'll come back to you in a sec. I
I want to throw this out to the panel, really, though. On City today, I know everyone's here to talk about other things.
I was about to do some black parenting, just about to say, man got up. It's a wrap.
Where's the slipper? Where's the slipper?
My mum used to take notes off of my Nigerian friends' mums. She used to, and Jamaican. My mum used to take notes off them and come home. So my mum, like when I moved to Essex, I used to tell the kids when I moved to Essex, and I used to tell my friends what my mum would do to us if we're naughty, what she hits us with, things she makes us stand there and do. My friends in Essex looked at me like I was in Guantanamo Bay. They were like, "What do you mean?" Where when I lived on the housing estate in East London, as kids, we'd always compare like how bad your parents hit you and what they did to you. So yeah, it's a crazy one. But I just wanted to say on City tonight, they had the chances, but it's been a few games in a row now where they've just not been at the races. They've fluffed their lines, they've missed their chances, and they've presented Arsenal with this absolutely. I mean, no City fans have turned up for the show, crazily enough. We have heard a rumor that they've all frozen to death. It's too cold. So maybe that's why they're not here. But they look like they're really struggling at the moment, City, to win games, defend, see it through. That's 6 points dropped in 3 games that they really should be winning.
It's the draws that kill you, they told me, Terry. It's the draws that kill you, they told me. They said, you know what? You can't draw too many games because 2 draws, you might as well just win 1 and lose 1. And now they've drawn 3 games in a row. Pep Guardiola's Manchester City, the Sharks, all the Man City fans today were really, really rattled by Robbie's comments that he called them, they're not sharks, calling them plankton, saying we're only one Arsenal loss away. Just proving our point once again.
It's what a lot of people were saying, though. I watched a lot of the game, and when Holland doesn't score from open play, they don't.
But you know something? I'm not even going to hear that because they told me that's an agenda. We're not Holland FC. We have Turkey. We have Foden. We have this guy. We have that guy. You could have signed Semenyo a couple weeks ago, had it wrapped up in your building, playing for you. Instead, you chose to have him play against Arsenal and play against Tottenham today and bury them 3-2 also. I don't want to hear it. Manchester City this season, you guys are getting a taste of your own medicine of what you used to do to other teams. You used to complain. Other teams used to complain about injuries. You did not want to hear it. Other teams used to complain about more consistently other players not stepping up. You didn't want to hear it. You spoke about other teams dropping points and having draws and how it's going to kill them. And this is what we do mentality. My ass. All you Manchester City fans need to wake up and smell the coffee because it's done. You are not catching us. You are going to continue to drop more points. This title race, in my opinion, between Arsenal and Man City has been between Arsenal and Arsenal. If we drop points and if we do something to mess up to get you a chance to come back into this race, because Manchester City have shown they don't have the resolve anymore. They don't have the resolve. We're killing your confidence. You guys are having pity parties and having mentality competition between which fan can bring up a better inspirational post. Used to call us cringe. For the same shit that you guys are doing now. And I need all you Man City fans, maybe not the older Man City fans who've been here for 20 plus years, but the young Man City fans who only know success. This is what it's like when you don't have a second 11 that can get you top 4. This is what it's like when you don't have a bench that is as good as your starters. This is what it's like.
Here's the thing.
Let me finish.
Let me finish, guys. Let me finish, please.
This is what it's like when you guys don't win several years in a row, and now you finally taste a couple years of struggles. This is not even struggles. You're still a good team, but you're incapable of finding other players to step up. We spoke about Foden. We spoke about other players. They have a little purple patch and you say, oh my God, we're winning. You guys have been overrated for the last couple of weeks with your results. And guess what? You're still undefeated. 11 games undefeated. Keep running with that narrative. Keep going undefeated because those draws. And yeah, finally, when it comes to Arsenal, Man City, the difference between us and you is they laugh at us for set pieces, they laugh at us for own goals, but we find ways to win these games. Be it whoever steps up. You guys don't have the solutions in the building anymore to win you these games. If it's not Erling Haaland, if it's not Turkey, if it's not Foden, nobody else is stepping up. Rodri's back, and you've dropped more points since he's come back than you've dropped the whole season. So don't talk to me about no title race. Don't talk to me about sharks. Don't talk to me about, Arsenal. If they don't win it from here, talk to me when you come to my ground. Talk to me when next time we play each other. Because when we come to your ground, we're not coming for no shared points. We're coming to end your resolve. That's what it's about. From now on to the end of the season, it's about killing your confidence. Because today is just if we go and beat Liverpool, we kill your confidence. 8-point gap. We're gonna kill these guys' confidence.
Egal is back, baby.
I was about to say, by the way, I just want to say, this is lockdown Egal who's back. I like this Egal. This is the real Egal.
You said that.
Oh, wait. There's one more person.
The
person right here. You changing?
Egal.
You changing your mind now? Oh, I think City's gonna still win it. I don't believe in Arsenal. You changing your mind now?
Yeah.
So here's
not changing my mind.
Can I say something?
But really, you said something.
Yeah, he's asking me a question. I must be able to respond.
They have no solutions in the building. I think they did. I just think Pep did what he does, and like he took this game for granted. He rotated. His most informed player wasn't on the pitch for the whole game, and he should have been.
But again, calm.
No, but I'm just saying, Cherky. I watched like 20 minutes of the game because I was in between the two games, and I had fantasy reasons for watching. And I was sitting there and saying, Cherky should have started this game. Like, there's no point in the you're in a title race now. Pep's doing this whole I can just rotate, we'll be fine. No, you're not those guys anymore. You got to play your best players every game at this stage. And I think that was his mistake.
But again, Cam, it's not just about his mistake. Again, you have to look at so again, they created a lot of chances and they didn't take it. They weren't clinical enough. So, and this was Arsenal's problem a few games ago, where people said, 22 shots, 7 shots on target, 4 big chances, you're not putting anything away. But because you're creating that volume, I think they're still going to come back in this season to start scoring again because they're creating volume. Let's not, yes, they're not being clinical right now and they're not taking their chances. The difference is for us, it happened before and we found the fix now. Another issue that they have, again, which is what I said to most City fans, is your dependence on Haaland to score majority of your goals. If he goes 3, 4, 5 games without scoring, there'll be a problem if your other players are not scoring. Arsenal have 13 different goal scorers this season so far. In the squad, when you put out the whole bench, there's people on the bench that have scored and people on the pitch that have scored. I think Raya is probably the only person who Kepa has saved us in the penalty at least. I'll call that a goalkeeper's goal. So again, this is where the issue is with Arsenal. We have multiple ways that we can score, and because we're more defensively resolute, or better, let me put it this way: we're a team that knows how to defend. We are able to actually see off games. With City, there's an underbelly right now. And sadly, it is what it is. Whether it's because of injuries or whether it's because you did not recruit well, that's on City. For us, I think what we just need to do is look at tomorrow's game as we're playing the defending champions. We come in there, we come into the Emirates, create the atmosphere, let the 12th man join in the match, do what we need to do, get a 2-0 win, perfect, give Raya a clean sheet. Let's move on from there. For me, it's game by game now because we need to get to a stage where if we genuinely want to win this league, we want to be comfortable with a wide margin lead so that if anything happens to us, if anything, at least we have enough games to rectify it. I don't think 8 points is enough to rectify any mistakes because that's just 2 losses and a draw, literally. And there's still 16, 17 games to play in the season after tomorrow. So again, I'm not getting overly excited. I'm just saying it is what it is when you look at a team and you realize that they're creating chances. This City team, I'm not trying to blow hot air up your ass. You guys better listen. The truth is, it happened for Arsenal. It's going to happen for you. The more you create chances, the most likely you're going to score again. This is where other players in City need to step up.
That doesn't surprise
not just for Haaland. Which is why for me, when people say, "Oh, Gyökeres is not scoring for you guys," I'm like, yeah, I agree. That's what we brought him for. But at least if you look at the table, our highest goal scorer is five goals. There's 2-3 people that have 5 goals. Everybody else is 4 goals, 3 goals, 4 goals, 3 goals, 2 goals, 2 goals, 3 goals, 2 goals, 1. Everybody's chipping in. So now you don't know who to mark when you're playing Arsenal.
But I still think with City, the fundamental issue of them compared to you, and we have to nitpick because you're the 2 favourites to win the league, is the volume of big chances they concede in games. It's the volume of big opportunities. So you guys concede. And we're not saying you don't, right? But it's the volume. Like today, Brighton should have been 2-0 up in the first 10 minutes. There was that opportunity, and I don't know how Matoma messed it up, where they gave the ball away at about the 75th minute of the game. They had another chance in the 85th minute, where it's actually crazy they didn't score. Again, Donnarumma pulling off saves. And I'm not That's not a dig. Donnarumma is there to do that job. He's absolutely amazing. But that's the difference between the two teams. Both teams will go through periods where you're maybe not scoring so much. The difference is you guys don't concede as much. So you get through those games, where for City, they're leaky. They're leaky. And I felt tonight was very similar to the Chelsea game. You could just sense a goal for Brighton coming. It never felt like they could keep them out. And I know what that feels like because my team's like it. As soon as I feel comfortable, wow, we're conceded again. But City are obviously in a title race and it feels different. And that's the difference between the two sides. I looked at the stats prove it as well. The facts prove it. Both Arsenal and City create on average the same amount of clear-cut chances per game. But City are conceding double that of Arsenal. That is why, if again, forget who you like and love. If you're a betting man, I know, Cam, you like a little bet. There's no way you're betting on City when the facts and the eye test show you that. It's just a crazy bet. It's a crazy bet.
Terry, even the goals is just a 5-goal mark difference. Even the goals is 45 goals for City and 40 for Arsenal. It's not like they scored 20 more.
And when you smash Liverpool 6-0 tomorrow night, you'll go ahead of them. Do you know what I mean? So it's
we can't do that. And then even the own goals that people talk about, we have 3 own goals. So does City. City have 3 own goals this season too. But nobody talks about those things because they just want to find a way to bounce Arsenal, and that's it.
Hey,
I hear you.
If I'm able
Terry,
to,
I gotta go. I'm just gonna say it's a sad day for the Tottenham fans who are rooting for City to win, and now their manager's out there with Arsenal cups. You guys can cry me a river. Chelsea lost. That was great. Villa also dropped points. So as much as we're talking about City, Villa might be our only real threat come a couple weeks time. Who knows?
No, I don't know about that. So go on, go to Sunshine. Go on, mate. Cheers, Egal.
Yeah, so obviously, Egal's run off. He ran off. He didn't even get his response.
I thought Arsenal played with the way Egal was talking a lot today.
But anyway,
I was so confused, bro. I had to look at the schedule. I was like, did I miss a game? Did Arsenal play? What's going on here?
Yeah, it's mad. Anyway,
no, we play tomorrow night, Staffy. We play tomorrow night.
You don't say we.
I'm on loan, bruv. I'm on loan.
Staffy, stop denying us. You know you're on loan.
Sorry, Sunshine. Back to you, bruv. Sorry.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, so I think I was going to say with the Arsenal basketball on that topic. I think it's quite evident. I think I said it to Egal beforehand. It was only like 30 seconds, but within that 30 seconds, I was simply saying I was expecting Arsenal to challenge. I think anyone does that. So that is not news for me. That doesn't make me get off my seat or make them go, oh, they're amazing, they're incredible. Because I don't believe they are incredible based on how they're performing, but how they're winning, that is incredible. And the question that I posed to Egal, or that I come across, was like, last season, the way in which they're playing football is definitely not the same way they're playing this year. Last season, they were saying they were one striker away from winning the league, right? Now, this is not slander. It's just there's been a shift in pattern. How you win the league is different to how they were planning on winning it last year, evidently. Gyökeres, who they bought to go and win this league, is not doing anything near that. However, they're finding other ways to go and get their goals. They're finding other ways to see out teams. So not necessarily does it mean, oh, Arteta's slapped it in that respect, because he's been building up a style and a way of playing for years, only to then have a completely different outlook this season. However, that shows that it's okay to adapt. As long as you can find a way to get your results, because the reality is Arsenal have gone past their building stage of 3 years. From that 3 years, you've got to go, right, at least I need to see you get to finals and trophies. They've been struggling to do that. So now they've got to win at all costs, and they're managing to do that. So even if their top goal scorer is 5 goals, they are spreading the goals across the team. And like you said, Terry, I think defensively they've been outstanding. So if you can maintain your defense, and then you can find a way to go and pick off your goals and get goals, and then you build confidence off that, what happens is when you get those results from being more clinical and more defensively solid, is that you build up an aura for other teams to walk into, to go, how are we actually going to beat these? You make other teams second guess you. You actually feel yourself with more confidence, and that's the difference with Arsenal. So they look like if they continue what they're doing, they're going to win. But the key games for me, and again, no bias attached at all, because if Arsenal win it, they win it, and deservedly so, just like Liverpool last season, regardless if I like it or not. But the key games are going to be the United and obviously the City when they meet, because those are the ones where I think they're under pressure to do a certain situation. Like we spoke about City bagging their goals and doing their thing, creating a lot of chances. United have been creating a lot of chances. We don't bag our goals, and look what it does to us. The only issue is we don't have that confidence or aura in the team. and we're nowhere near where City are in their development. So
Yeah.
the reality is Arsenal look like they're going to win it.
No, they do. What do you think's wrong with? What do you put City's? Again, when I say wrong with them, I want to be very careful because there's a lot of very emotional City fans at the minute. I'm talking about in the context of a title race not being quite there. What do you think's off with City? What do you think's wrong with them that's allowing Arsenal to create this gap? Is there something wrong, or is it just that Arsenal are superior?
I wouldn't necessarily say okay. Well, since you use the word superior in some aspect, in the sense of they are more consistent in the way they're able to get their results and get the job done. City are unable to perform to the same level consistently. So it's a lot harder when your goals are routed through one man, respectfully. Even though you've got Haaland and you're maintaining it, at some point in some games, there's going to be a chance or a situation where Haaland's not going to be able to do that and someone else needs to step up. They had Reindeers, they had Foden occasionally were able to do that. But if they don't, and then they're vulnerable at the back defensively, they just don't look like a solid unit according for a whole season. And because they don't look like a solid unit, and yes, you can talk about injuries and Rodri. Again, I'm never one to be disingenuous with injuries and certain profiles in a team because it's evidently going to change. But the reality is you are not rebuilding your squad and you are in a better position than most of your rivals. And especially as I've just admitted, Arsenal are not playing the football like they were last year. That actually is beneficial for a striker like Gyökeres, evidently. They're still managing to get results. There is more pressure on Arsenal to go and lift this trophy than there is City, respectfully. So there's no actual excuses for City. And the simple fact is you've got to go and find a way to get results as title challengers. That is it. Point blank period. And they are struggling to do it. Maybe because they haven't got the quality that they used to be able to pull out the performances that they need. But the reality is you look at Arsenal and City, one's getting results regardless of how, whether it's own goals, corners, free kicks, the odd worldie, penalty, it doesn't matter. You get results, no one cares, especially when it's clutch time and you're touching cloth for a trophy. No one cares as long as you make the toilet, bro.
Yeah,
like, you're fine. That's it.
No, I agree. And at the end of the day, one of the reasons why the best teams get over the line more regularly than everybody else is just because they tend to have better players. That's and managers. Like that's the thing. Fergie won a lot of games late on. We won a lot of games in our title races where you go, oh, how do we get over the line? Well, I tell you how, because Giggsy and Rooney and Van Nistelrooy and Scholesy and Beckham and Ronaldo and the list goes on. Just that individual quality to change moments, and City just don't have as much of that as they used to. And that's I keep telling people. I used to say this to David a lot on the shows. You shouldn't want less individual quality in your team. You need more. You need more and more and more and more of it. Like something that if you don't have enough of, it hurts you. It's a simple. I'm saying that one other thing no one talks about with City, and I just thought about it a lot today because they were playing whilst we were playing, and I went, how many times did teams counterattack them from 2017 to 2003, 2004? But Kyle Walker's speed recovered the situation. Kyle Walker just stopped that situation becoming an issue. He wins the ball when City attack again. Losing him was always going to be a problem because that speed he had was a cheat code in that regard, and they've lost it. And there ain't no one else out like him out there that can do that. KJ, brother, Sesko turned up today. Got a brace. That's a positive.
Yeah. Listen, a frustrating game. I'm glad Neji is here because we've been having some good conversation on the old Twitter. You know what I mean? Today isn't a talk for Wilcox or Amarim like we've been talking today. It's just about today's game. I saw things that I liked from Man United today. The return of the back four. I'd never leave me again. You know what I mean? Never leave me again. I just think our team and our players are more comfortable in that formation. I think that going forward, you can see that these players are trying. It's just they just have defensive lapses, which is just frustrating. But today is a big game for Sesko, though, because in that first half, I just thought his head dropped. I thought his confidence is in the ground. There was that one chance he had where he drifted out wide. The ball is through, and he just takes this half-baked shot like he didn't believe that he would go in. He just took the shot to make sure he got the shot on target. And I was like, no, this guy needs the whole bench if his head's like that, if his mind's not right. But then second half comes, he keeps going. Bruno finds him because he's in his best position, and he He hits that bottom bins. Love that. And then the second goal, that is a player with confidence.
Very good.
That is a player with confidence. And this is where me and AG can agree, is that when our players are not confident, when our players are down and their mentality is weak, we are not clinical. We don't hit our chances. We don't score goals we should. But when our shoulders are back, when our chest is puffed out, when these players have some kind of confidence, Lord behold, they can play football. You know what I mean? Sesko can score goals that really and truly, it was harder than some of the chances he's had all season.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Because a little bit of confidence come in. Like,
Even that header, KJ, as well. That header that was going.
The header was good.
He had an assist as well.
Great save.
Do you know what I thought was interesting about the second goal was fantastic, and it's the only the not winning takes a shine off of it a little bit. But for me, the first goal, first thing that went through my mind is where the fuck has that creativity been all year for him? I know he's had some chances that he should have scored, where he's had like the headers and things like that. But you know, putting that ball, there's a person behind you, Ash. Got someone behind you.
Hello.
he panicked. So what?
That is, yeah, you can't deny
someone who was asleep.
Yeah,
is now not.
There we go. Hello, little un. I saw that. I just was like the person. Yeah. So again, I saw it and I was like, what? Love Sesko or hate Sesko? One thing I feel all top teams in England should be doing is creating chances like that on a regular basis for your strikers, because most decent strikers will score those chances if you create them, which is very, very good.
And he had like what, 7 shots?
7 shots on target.
Yeah. When's the last time a Man United striker, forget Sesko, when's the last time a Man United striker even had 7 shots in the game, let alone 7 on target? You know what I mean? So,
sorry, I was gonna say, I think some of those shots on target, and I'm not taking away from him because they
weren't great shots.
I think he wanted them so bad. He wanted that hat trick. He wanted that goal so bad that he started snatching at a few of them. Where I was like,
maybe,
just
that left foot shot when it came into the box.
Can I ask you guys a question just right out to the panel? What did you make? A lot of again, I've seen Goldbridge tweet at the end. I'm not too sure the context. I have to listen to him speak, but he sort of said, "Fuck you, Jason Wilcock." "Fuck you, Wilcock." I've seen a lot of people go, "Told you, Amorim weren't the problem. Shouldn't have sacked him. We still didn't win." What did you guys make of us today in terms of? And I'm gonna frame this in the way that this way. I'm not happy with everything. I still think we've got an average to good squad. Nothing's changed in my mind with that. We have got players missing and players returning from injury and stuff. But I just love the intent of what Darren Fletcher did. Throwing on Lacey late in the game, taking off holding midfielders for attacking midfielders and sort of your strikers and your attackers, trying to win a football match. And maybe some people may think I'm going over the top, but when he made those subs, I just had this little flashback to when we were a real team. We would have done that. So we didn't always win. I remember losing at Turf Moor many, many years ago. But that is what Sir Alex did in every game away from home that we were trying to win against the smaller teams. You might not have done it away against Arsenal in the title race. You might have taken a point. But that was one thing I loved about the game today was the intent to try and win. You can't always win games. I'm not going to judge Fletcher too much because he's not even a real manager. Let's be honest. He's an under-18s coach. He's not a proper manager. I don't know about you boys. I just like the intent. I'm pissed off we haven't won. I'm annoyed it's 3 draws on the bounce. Could have been sitting 4th today. But I feel that if this season alone, forget last year, if we would have had that attacking intent in all of our games this year, I think we'd be sitting in a much better position than we are.
So I disagree completely, as always.
Real quick.
Yeah.
Well, just for me,
I've only got 10 minutes as well, so.
Oh yeah, go ahead then. Go ahead, because
sorry, King. Yeah, I'll land up and then I'll just get my myself going. Sorry. I disagree in the sense of, like I've posted and showed you guys, we've created more than enough chances to win games. Top of the league for created chances and everything else, expected goals, blah 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 blah. So to tell me that we don't create enough, again, I'll just have to push back on that, and we have to have another debate on that because I haven't got the time. But the reality is, what I will agree with you on is, towards the latter of Ruben Amorim's last 4 or 5 games, when we need to go and get a win or chase a win, he's been more defensive with his substitutions. I've never been able to knock that, or anyone that's highlighted that, because it's a fact. At Man United, you should go for it. There's been times when Kobe should have come on instead of Ugarte. We get that as well, especially when you're chasing a goal. It's more of an attacking minded substitution. That's just 1 + 1 = 2. So that you can hold weight for that, but that's still not a sackable offence in my opinion. That is you have a conversation. Look, at Man United, you go and actually put on players to go and get a win that are more attacking. Simple
Can't
as.
do that, bro.
But well, facts. Yeah. But the reality, if I'm being honest, Terry, if you look at United, the weight on which people have said get rid of the manager for whatever reason has based on formation and systems, and that has been their key thing. So you would expect, if that is the reason that Wilcox got rid of him, which I again disagree, but if that is the reason, let's play devil's advocate, then you would have expected something even more against Burnley away today. Because if that's the only change that's been necessary, then cool. Then you're going to say to me, oh, well, Cobby didn't start or play, but I thought he was the missing link. We're going to play 4-3-3, or at least he's going to play in a 3-man midfield with one attacker ahead of him. Didn't happen. When he did come on, respectfully, if you are going to be this big ego kid and you're going to be the Garnacho guy of the Man United, which is fine. If you want to be that guy, then you're going to get scrutinised the same way, because you're telling me that you're ready to start. Why are you hoofing the ball and having a 50-yard shot last minute? Why are you making a 5-yard disrespectful pass when you've just won it back? Like, this is you can't have your cake and eat it. Now, I'm saying this as one of biggest Cobby Mainoo's fan. So those of you that heard me talk about Cobby Mainoo before he even made a first 11, putting him in first 11s more than anyone prior to that, can vouch for that. So it's not even a case of I dislike him. So you can miss me with that conversation. But I'm talking about a character and mentality situation. So the reality is, we've drawn again, we've dropped points, and the reality is nothing has actually changed, because we created a lot of chances again today. Haven, Bruno hit the post. These are clear-cut chances. Sesko should have bagged his hat-trick respectfully. He scored 2. Keep your composure. Hit that ball first time, hit it clean. You probably get that on target, goes in, there's your hat-trick. We are not being clinical in the moments when we have advantage, regardless if it's a 4 at the back, 3 at the back, 5 a minute. It doesn't matter. And I don't care what manager comes in. The reality is it's going to take time for these players to be settled, comfortable, and have a foundation to work on one thing over and over again until they start to put these away and you actually go through that process. So I think we're going to struggle to make the higher level to get to top 4, because these players are already shown that they're fragile and weak, and you've just dismantled the whole cart right, ultimately, midway through a season, which seemingly, even if you like the manager or not, you cannot be disingenuous and say these players weren't at least trying for him until, they end up dropping their heads when they start missing chances. I don't see how this unstable situation aids these players even more when, again, in my opinion, they're just weak mentally. I don't see how that gets to top 4.
I'll be honest with you. Like, I agree that we're going to struggle for top 4, and I don't.
It's happened again. Oh, and he's back.
Am I back?
What is that?
No, you're here. You're here.
Yeah.
Oh.
I got him.
Flash for a second there.
Nothing happened my end.
You're good.
All right, cool. From my point of view, I hear you, Sunshine. I don't think anyone on this panel, and it's certainly not a narrative that I've been pushing on the terrace. I've had a lot of people this last week say, you deserve us to have Ollie full time because you wanted Amorim out. Again, I'm not someone that said Sack and Amorim will fix us completely. For a season.
Yeah.
I don't think Sack and Amorim is the 100% key to fixing us. I don't think playing Shea Lacey in all these previous 5, 6, 7 games would have guaranteed we won these matches. I don't think necessarily changing the formation in every game would have made us win, but things had to change because a lot of the performances were absolutely drab. And for me, the one thing we did agree on, actually, although we did miss chances today, which I said I'm disappointed in, it was the intent. Had we have had this attacking intent at home against 10 men Everton, had we have given Shea Lacey longer in the game, had we have had this attacking intent at home against Wolves in this last week or so, if we had this attacking intent against West Ham at home, I believe we're in that top 4 space right now. And Amorim's probably still got a job. So I think it's a combination of things. I think where you hit the nail on the head, where you are right, is anyone who's pushing a singular narrative, the silver bullet narrative of sacking Amorim fixes us, starting Cobby Mainoo makes us one of the best teams in the world, playing Shea Lacey would make, he's as good as Saka. Anyone who kind of pushes that type of narrative they are idiots because it isn't one singular thing. I feel like with Amorim leaving, for me, the whole thing has been a death by 1,000 cuts. There's multiple issues that have kind of led to that and everything else. But Cam, what were you going to say, bro? Sorry.
Guys, I'm gonna shoot, man. But blessings, man.
Cheers, bro. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, I love you,
man. Shakespearean on you real quick. This is from my favorite Shakespeare book. It's a quote, and it's about hubris, because this is what killed Amorim, in my opinion. There's none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked. He was talking about a character named Banco in the story, and how when that character was around, he felt diminished. His insecurities came out. And with Amorim, that's what happened when Wilcox got involved. Instead of just feeling it out and working with him, because a lot came out with the conversations about how like Wilcox just kind of was like, yo, why did you feel the need to match up against Wolves? And he lost it, right? And I think I look at people not realizing that, in my opinion, Amorim's hubris was self-sabotage. Because you're right, a lot of us would have had a lot more time for him. We would have cared a lot less about what was happening if he just didn't bring on a center back every single time we were down or in the game. If he just showed something different. I just want to preface this that I'm not happy at all. Like, Amorim leaving doesn't make me happy about this result. We fucking Burnley, and we shouldn't have. Like, I'm still pissed off. Like, the same way, like when you saw me after the Newcastle game when we had won, and you're like, oh, where'd you go? I'm like, because there's something called the script in the NFL, and I knew the script. I was like, yeah, we're gonna beat Newcastle and watch. We're gonna fucking drop points against Wolves, and then we'll be in the same spot. So it was very hard for me. Like, I look at the script now. If I were to write it for United, we're gonna go probably beat Brighton, probably get a result against City, Arsenal, and then we're going to lose against Fulham and Tottenham or something. And it's just going to be like, all my joy is going to be sapped from me, because there's a mix of the players. There's a mix of like the recruitment and whatnot. I'm not going to get into the whole thing, but talking about today's game alone, when we talk about today's game, Sesko was, for me, this is what I've been waiting for. I think he's, out of all the strikers, it's going to be Ekatike and then him we're going to talk about as the best buys, in my opinion. I think they're going to be the two. I know Walter.
Nick. Oh yeah, you got Nick.
Baby's last hand.
Or Wissa. Which
right,
yeah. Assist today. That's another one for them.
Tell with the W, because you got two W's.
That's true. We got dubs everywhere.
Right. So no, but I think those two will come out, mainly because like age potential, and honestly, Sesko's just a tidy player on the ball. He looks really good on the ball when when he's actually picking it up. For the negatives, it still sucks that we have to play a Dorgu in right wing, like when we don't have him. And I know this is an AFCON year, but I know he got the assist, but I don't want to see him there. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to see him in that position. I still cannot believe Delo's on this team. I think he was partly at fault for like that goal. I think I feel bad for Heaven, because Heaven's out there. The kid looks like he wanted to beat himself up for it. I was like, bro, like that's not your fault. Like, it sucks. It was a deflection. It went off. You did what you need to do, and
it's one of those ones where if he doesn't put the block in and it crosses and he goes to a player and they score, you gotta either one of your block.
But the problem started with Delo. Like the problem started with Delo. So I look at it as we have so many areas right now. So this is another thing. This is going to be polarizing a bit, because I hear what Sunshine's saying about the Manu thing. I think he now has to perform. I get that today he clearly rushed back from injury. But one of the things that Amorim did say about him is he doesn't have the speed and the energy, right? So the midfield balance we're going to have to find around him is important, because he did lose the ball that one time, and this dude's close down was slow as hell. And I was like, bro, you didn't even try it. And that bothered me. I'm like, you need to be out there busting the gut, but I'm assuming it's because he's hurt. So I'm giving him some grace. I get it. Like, I don't think you have it in you to make those.
He's also had no way. He's also only had 333 minutes.
He is not match fit. He is not match fit for match fit.
No. That's what I'm saying. But I'm saying if one of his attributes isn't speed and quickness, because he's really good close control, he's intelligent, all that. I think the midfield buy is going to be so important for us. Like getting the two in there with guile, with speed. I think I get why we want Balibo over the other ones now, because you're going to need that guy. And I swear to God, like, what do we do when Bruno goes? It's a positive and a detriment at the same time. Bruno went off the pitch, and I think we all felt it. Ooh, who's going to create now? Ooh, where's it going to come from?
Yeah, him coming off was a turning point in the game. Definitely.
Right? Like he steps off the pitch, and all of a sudden we lose all of our threat. That feeling of, you know, at Burnley, it felt like they started to go in their shell, and it was like, oh, you could tell they're scared now. Bruno went off, and they're like, oh shit. It's like when if you're a younger kid and you're getting in a fight in the schoolyard, right? And you're talking big, and you're like, yeah, and it's like kids are worried about you, and it turns out your big brother was behind you. Well,
when your big brother leaves and goes to when your big brother leaves and goes to the next school and you're by yourself, it's a different world. Then it's a different. I was there. I was in that situation. Yeah.
How it felt today. I was like, big brother left, and Burnley was like, we can take you. We can take you. And finally, the last thing that it's a negative, because this is why we drew the game, is why do we keep allowing players to just get these free shots from just on the edge of the box? Because people are talking about, oh, Lemens is worse than Onana. I'm like, bro, what is he supposed to do? I shot a rocket top mid.
That annoyed me, yeah. But look up the series of events that came up to that point. They had 3 players back to back dribble through us in that little. If you watch that 5 minutes, 3 players dribbled through us.
Sorry, one more thing. Sorry, I really did my nut in today, and I'll end here. One more thing. And I said it in the group chat, VAR at this point is fucking stupid. I'm sorry. Like, Martinez it was more of a foul later in the game when Martinez pulled down. I forget who his name was, Foster or something, when he was on the break. That was more of a foul than what happened in the box. I understand you can be fooled. I understand you can be tricked. A guy can go down. The fact that Walker didn't even get up for another 10 seconds, it's not like he went down and rushed and the play had moved on. Either way, never a foul. How do you go to video replay and you don't call? I never complain about refs. I'm very rarely, because they're bad all the time. It evens out. But today, I was like, you did rob Sesko of an assist. You robbed us of the win, because at that point we would have been perfectly. We would have kept going.
Well, we would have won 3-2. yeah. The score would have been 3-2. Yeah.
Yeah. Nonsense. Either way, I want to see. I just want to see whoever comes in as the manager next play a way that is going to continue on with the next manager. That's all I want to see.
No, I hear you on that. Obviously, we've got super chats to do. We're going to talk a bit of Newcastle in a bit as well, because again, the Premier League putting too many fucking games on one night. Staffy, what are you here to say, bro?
I mean, a lot has been covered already, but yeah, it's just a little bit of a disappointing result. I think it's one of those games where there's a lot of draws that we had this season where we're like, yeah, we probably should have lost, if anything. And today was just disappointing in a different way, because I felt like we did a lot to win it, and we arguably deserve to win it. I mean, just due to the fact that they've only had 1 shot on target and scored 2 goals. That alone should tell me that we deserve to win. But obviously we know why. It's because one of them was an own goal. And who was responsible for that own goal? Listen, man, we got rid of Emran, but we left his cousin. Should have took his cousin out as well. His cousin should have left with him, but it is what it is. That's where we at. But no, I think we played well today.
Matthew, how many managers is that Delo survive now? How many?
He's been here since
Jose. Yeah, Jose. 4 managers that man's gone.
So count everyone since Jose. We basically had Jose, Ole, Carrick, we had Ranić, sorry, as well.
Okay, so that's 3.
Ten Hag,
Rude.
and what's his name? Emram. So yeah.
Emram and Rude as well. We had Rude member for.
And Rude, there you go. That's about 6 or 7, including all the little caretakers and interims and stuff. But what was I saying? Yeah. No, I think we played well today. I know people are gonna see. There's a lot of people that are gonna be vindicated. I saw people hate watching us because they're Emram inners, which is very weird, because when I was I just said I don't care anymore. If we lose, we lose. I just want this manager gone. People were calling me a fake fan. But then on the first day of Emram being gone, and the guy who's in charge is actually one of Fergie's sons in Fletcher. I know someone who grew up in the club, someone who gets it, everything that you want to talk about when you talk about the United way, the DNA, all that. And people were actually hate watching because they just wanted to feel vindicated about a manager that had a 32% win rate. Well, I'm sorry to tell you that this isn't the same result as the Wolves game. Wolves, I swear, Wolves had more XG than us. They had them at the same amount of possession. United today were good, man. Individual mistakes from Dayo cost us. The midfield, we already know it's not good, so it's a reminder how much improvements we need. Ugarte and Casemiro is never going to be a midfield that takes you far.
Anyway.
But you said it well, Terry. Like, there was a lot of changes today that you could just see, even if you can't prove it statistically. Some of them you could, but even if you can't prove it statistically, you can see the change of intent today. You can see the switch in energy. Even when we went down, like so many times when we go down in a game, I'm like, yeah, it's over. Today, I generally thought we would win. You know, when we went up 2-1, and I thought it would be over, but obviously because of our complacency, we conceded again. And I still believe that we could still score. And if it wasn't for Shea Lacey being unlucky, that would have been a banger. And
Bro,
that would have been another goal. And a lot of people would have been.
When the ball left his foot, I said yes. Because the path was.
It looked like it was going in.
I was like, yes, it's done it. And flipping out.
Yeah,
man.
and that wasn't the only time we hit the woodwork. Like, just throw out some stats for some of the people out there. I mean, we had total 30 shots today. Neji can talk about us being clinical and all that, and I do get him. I feel like in the majority of the game we had a clinical issue, but don't forget that today we had 30 shots. I swear, like over half of them, I think 20 of the 30 were from inside the box. It shows you how much we were getting inside their box. Sesko alone, guys, today had 8 shots, 7 of them on target. He's average. I posted this on Twitter earlier for the people who follow me. He's had 8 shots today in total, 7 on target and 2 goals. He's averaged 2.7 shots all season. So per game this season, he's been averaging 2.7. That's almost triple of that. That's more than double, almost triple. So it just shows you how much more we're creating for him. And if you guys read or you listened to what Fletcher said after the game, I was just reading about it. He said he was talking to Sesko yesterday, and he was showing him footage and videos of what runs he needs to make and all that. That's more coaching that he probably received in one day under Fletcher than he's received all season under Emery. So people might call it an agenda or whatever. I saw a team today that excited me. I was generally excited to just see a team that plays football that I believe in, a brand that I believe in, with bravery, not bringing on center backs and just being pussy whenever we're scared or whatever. 2-1, we would have been bringing on center backs if everyone was there. Even if we that's even if we even get to 2-1. Bringing on attackers, not being scared, by the way, to bring on Xerxes, extra attacker, bringing on Menu, extra attacker, bringing on, what's his name? Shea Lacey, extra attacker. We're sitting here talking about how long probably he should have brought him on, rather than the fact that he didn't bring him on. And these are things that we didn't see. And even Dorgo, who we were talking about not being that good, I mean, to be fair to him, as much as he's a little bit disappointing as a player, because I don't think he's been a great signing, he's created five chances today to his striker. That's the most he's done in one game since we signed him. So these are all little improvements that I saw in one game that, I'll be honest, it doesn't mean that Fletcher is just amazing. It doesn't mean that Fletcher is the next Pep. It doesn't mean that we should give him the job. It just shows you how much the other manager was doing a lot less compared to what just another average manager, because I think that's what Fletcher is going to be if he pursues coaching in his career. He's just going to be an average manager, like just something decent, nothing great. Go ahead, KJ.
That's a bit harsh. You know what I mean?
No, when I say average, is not. If you're an average Premier League manager, that's good. Like, well, why are we talking about you being an average Premier League manager?
I don't even know. I mean, Fletcher himself said he hasn't even thought about being like. It's not really been so far. It hasn't been any. It's not like he's been pursuing coaching opportunities elsewhere. He's a Man United man. He wants to be here. And listen, I got everything Neji said. I get everything he said, but then I feel like he actually agreed with what I said and then went on about not being clinical. I agree, and I said in my monologue about United that disappointed me today. We should have maybe taken a few more chances, and I felt we were unlucky in certain areas. That the lack of intensity after going 2-1 up, it's something, again, this is what we need our next head coach to really drum into these players. And by the way, Ollie didn't do a good enough job at this. You shouldn't go 2-1 up and go, cool. It should be you go 2-1 up, maintain that intensity, keep your foot on the throttle, you go 3-1 up, then maybe you sit back. You saw Fulham do it today. Fulham, I know it's 10v11, but the better team, they go 1-0 up, then they take their foot off the gas. Chelsea, 20 minutes work their way back into the game and equalise. Thankfully, from a Fulham perspective, they then go on and get the winner. I'm sitting there and thinking, why are you now letting them have the ball? Why are you being more passive? And that's something we need to get better at. But it's the intent. And at the end of the day, if you're under the age of about 25, maybe even 30, you'll probably still, you'd have been 14, 15. Remember, if you're under the age of 25, you don't really know what I'm talking about because you didn't experience the 25 greatest years that any single football club in the history of English football has experienced. But this is how we operated today in nearly every single game, home and away. Especially if we're at home, you go for the win. And of course, I don't like losing, and I'm going to criticize players. But you know what's interesting? forget that it's Fletcher for a moment. If Amorim was doing this in most games, most of our conversations wouldn't be about how we set up, the shape, the substitutions that he made, his in-game management. It would be, is this player good enough? Is that player good enough? But instead,
he wouldn't have lost his job.
No, he wouldn't have lost his job. He would still be here because the irony is Wilcott and co wouldn't have got as involved. And by the way, I will just say very quickly, because I'm going to say this on camera today, anyone suggesting that a sporting or footballing director should not interfere with the footballing element of the football club, I have to say you don't understand the job. Imagine what you're saying is, no matter, even though you're only winning one game in 3, although you're only winning one game a month in the Premier League for 12 months, although you're failing to capitalize on opportunities, although your in-game management has been awful, although even the fans defending him were getting angry at him, what you're actually advocating is that manager's bosses say and do nothing. Now, this is why I'm going to call out these people. I know they don't like Ineos, and you've got every right not to. There's loads I don't like. I would change them tomorrow for better owners, 100%. But you're not judging the action. You're judging the people. Because imagine it was the other way around. And then all the reports were coming out in The Athletic and they were saying, look, Amorim's struggling. We can all see it. 38% win ratio. But we've been inquiring into Man United and all we've been told by Ineos, all we've been told by Wilcott is they're not interested in talking. They're just going to let him carry on. It's his job. They're not getting involved in the footballing side. These same fans would say, what a disgrace. Why are they not getting involved? Why are they not talking to him? Why are they not helping him? That's the thing for me in this conversation. The idea that the footballing and sporting directors, and you know what the pushback I got today was? It's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my whole life. Nobody would tell Pep he's got to change his system. If he was winning 30% of his games, they would. It's because he's winning 70% of their games. Nobody tells him what to do. If Amorim was winning 70% of his games, Wilcott would leave him alone. You do any job badly. You do any job where you're underperforming. Your bosses are going to speak to you about it. Stop being weak and be honest about this. They had to get involved. It wasn't working. It wasn't working. The idea, it's crazy.
I think people a better way of phrasing it, rather than for me, for people to understand from a manager's point of view, is you got to remember when these managers are interviewing for the job. So when Amorim interviewed for this job, he obviously gave him his vision. They gave Wilcox the vision. This is how I want to operate this team. All Wilcox will be doing at the beginning is holding him and scrutinizing him and making sure he sticks to it. But then when you're seeing it's failing, it's not necessarily telling him what to do. It's probably asking the questions, what are you considering here, because it's not working? And it's probably still giving the agency for Amorim to still be the manager and manage the team like everyone would want you to do.
Yes.
But at the same time, it's scrutiny. It's not telling them what to do.
Absolutely. And this is the thing. You get comments like this that say telling the manager what to do is not good. But that isn't what the reports have said. That is how people have manipulated the words. You know what the conversation would be, because if you've had a good boss, they don't tell you what to do. They coach you. What a good boss actually does is they get you to say what you should do. So it comes from you. So there's agency in what you're doing. But at the end of the day, I've heard someone go, yeah, but you hired a 3-4-3 manager. Why would you ask him to change? Because it wasn't working. There has to be an adaptation. It hasn't been working. And yes, some people go, well, just completely building the squad that he wants and needs. Maybe that would have worked. But Amorim himself said, to get the time to do that, I've got to win games. So they're sitting down with him and just saying, how about we evolve a bit? How about we try this shape? How about they would not have sat down and said, play 4-3-3, you're getting sacked. I don't believe that's the meeting. I believe it's a more neutral conversation. Now, the irony in it is this, and I do think you hit the nail on the head with the hubris element, Cam. He started changing the shape for 3 or 4 games. And suddenly, even though we weren't winning, there was but I can get behind this. I quite like this. Oh, that looked good. Imagine what it's like when the AFCON players get back. For whatever reason.
The reports were saying that he was the last couple games, he was going to training for a back 4. And then on the day of the game, they'd set up as a back 3. It's literally in the report, so people need to go and read that. So that's actually even more confusing, because what makes you go to training, practice a back 4 over the last couple games, and then when you go to games, you switch up the way you play. Are you just trying to do it while your boss is watching? But then when you go to the game, you're like, I'm gonna do whatever I want anyways.
Exactly it,
is it self-sabotage? Who knows?
Exactly it. He was doing it because he was being told to train and do it. And then when he got to the game, he's like, this is my show. I'm gonna do what I want. And unfortunately, like you're right, Terry, all the stuff that's came out saying he was told. No, if you actually go read the actual breakdowns of what was said, it was Wilcox approached him for a conversation. He wanted to talk about it, or they were in meetings, and then whenever anything would come up about tactics, he would lose his shit because he's like, stay out of your lane. Anybody who knows when your boss is getting involved in something that is supposed to be specifically your job, if it's not positive, it's negative. It's never in the middle. It's never in the middle. Like it's like,
I would. Do you know what? I look at this. This is my view on this, right? I think our squad is average to good. That's it. Top whack good, if not average. So what do I expect from a coach? I think a 50 to 55% win ratio. And I can go, do you know what? I think you're maybe getting, over the course of a year, I think you're getting the very best out of this current squad. He was at low 30s. So there has to be a conversation. And I think this is what's really funny. Everyone that's denying that to happen, let's play a game. I dare you to employ someone that's underperforming and you do fuck all about it. I dare you to have an editor, mate. If you're a YouTuber and you're kicking off, they shouldn't get involved. I dare you to hire a host or an editor who does a bad job. I bet you'll say something. I guarantee. I promise you'll say something. Why wouldn't his employers? Now, where I agree is they shouldn't be running the coaching sessions. They shouldn't be. People are pulling on a clip where Wilcox said one of his problems is because he feels like a coach, he sometimes gets a little bit too involved. Again, I just think people are over-egging it. That's just him being honest in the moment. And we all know no one's perfect in their job.
If you actually listen to it, it's a joking tone. It's not like,
guys,
I want to be a manager and I just can't take it. Like, it's
mad. I'm going to go to super chats in a minute, but I want to touch on Newcastle first. A crazy win for you guys. 2 minutes over time added on though, so disgraceful. Really, they played beyond the 10 minutes added on. You scored 12 minutes over time. Leeds robbed. No, fuck them. Fuck Leeds, bastards. Well done on the win, mate. Crazy game though.
It's not good for the heart.
I'm gonna go.
It was not good for the heart. I'm sure every neutral watching that would have loved it, but my heart barely could hold on. And yeah, 2 minutes over, but I think that was due to Leeds doing some Newcastle. Let's say Newcastle of 22, 23, where with like substitutions at the last minute, sort of slowing the game down, bit of time wasting here and there. But listen, right to the death. It makes a change that it's us doing it this time rather than the other way around, because I'm kind of sick of there was a graphic when we scored the penalty to make it 3-3. There was a graphic, and it was the teams that have let goals in at 90 minutes. Leeds were there at 7, now 8, and Newcastle were right underneath them at 6. And I was like, this is it was telling. But listen, I think I want to give credit to Aronson, man. And Leeds in general, they pressed high, and Aronson pulled off 2 very good goals. I can't fault the finishes. I'm not really going to blame Nick Pope for any, really. I know Ash in the chat was a bit was having a go at him for the second one, but for me, that goal was just a really good strike from Aronson. So fair play to the guy. Their second goal, I know you were talking about robberies. You may not have seen it, but how the referee's given that handball against Malik Chow, I have no idea. DCL is pushes. Well, I don't want to say pushes. They're jostling for position to head the ball, and DCL gives him a shot, like nods him out the way, and he's like falling down. And as he's falling down, his sort of arms go out to sort of like stop himself, like brace himself for falling onto the floor. It hits his arm, and they give it for a penalty. And I was raging that was potentially going to cost us points, but listen, the lads rallied, and what a game! Probably the best game of the night.
Yeah, I mean, it probably. What I mean, yeah, it was. I mean, I just think it's the one thing that's a disgrace is that all these games are on one night. When you got one game yesterday and one game tomorrow, it doesn't even make sense that they put it all on one night. Just from I'm quite fortunate. I've got like 5-6 screens in front of me, so I can have 3 or 4 games on. But even then, it's so hard to concentrate. Like, it would have been lovely to have watched a couple of these games. And when my team's on, it's so hard to focus on the other clubs because it's your team. It's so frustrating. It really, really is. But yeah, great win for you guys. And you're 6th in the league now. I felt you guys would start to level out second half of the season. You had some bad performances, but by and large, you were just really good in games and you weren't winning them. And my view was just always stick with what you're doing. It's going to come good. And I always find it funny because you always seem to do this. And it's weird. You've got these sort of like Newcastle fans who are really influenced by some of the toxic content out there, where as soon as you go for a bad month, it's Eddie Howe's got to go, Eddie Howe out, Eddie Howe out. And then you go on, and then suddenly 3 or 4 wins later, you're pushing for a Champions League spot. And it's like, well, you're always going to do this. I just find those Newcastle fans very strange, considering where you were a few years ago, the limitations you have in finances, that they're sort of acting and talking like they're, no disrespect, it's like you've got a world-class squad that's been winning and he's like massively underperforming. I always find it strange the way people turn on Eddie Howe.
Well, this is the thing, Terry. I think what you'll find with most of those fans, and it's kind of the opposite of Man United fans really now. So if you've got fans like myself who are like 30 plus, we've seen better Newcastle teams. We've seen Sir Bobby Robson teams where we were top of the league, battling it out and regularly getting Champions League football. And then you had King Kev in the 90s. So I've seen better Newcastle teams than the one we have today. So I'm not overly, I don't want to say, what's the term? I'm not overly gassed when we're winning and when we're losing, because I know what this team's capable of. I think some of these newer fans, this is the first time for a very, like I said, this is the first time they've seen a Newcastle team be good, because it's been a very long time since we've been anywhere near this sort of level. And so they, bless them, they don't know how to act in this situation.
There's that. I just think you've got to, again, the older Newcastle fans have just got to try and educate and coach a little bit. The younger fans are trying to go down this standard FC nonsense, because having really, really high standards isn't what's going to speed up your improvement. It's actually just your club growing its revenues that's going to help. That's what you guys need to go to that next stage, and that's going to take time. And that's why when the owners took over, it was a 10-year project to try and get you to the top. And what you 4 or 5 years in, because they knew the financial landscape, the rules that are now in place would stop you from being able to, you can't suddenly have a sponsor from a company that pays you 100 million a year that has no employees and makes no products. You can't do that anymore.
Not anymore. No, thank you, Chelsea. Thank you, Man City. That was a wonderful
you
blueprint.
Can't sell off mad. You can't buy some land and then sell it to the club and then sell it for 3 times the profit to a sister company. You can't do these things, and that's why it's going to take time. But it's a good turnaround, great win. And my only disappointing thing is I couldn't actually watch it and kind of be engrossed in it. But there was a lot of great games. I felt like the intensity of the Chelsea game, the intensity of the City game, the Bournemouth game with Semenyo getting the winner at the end was crazy. United's game had its moments, even though ours was a little bit more of a damp squib in comparison. But crazy game. And the second half of this season, with Chelsea getting a new manager, United are going to get a caretaker. Let's see what happens with Liverpool tomorrow. There are so many teams fighting out for these Champions League spots. And I am actually hoping the English team go quite deep into the Champions League, and it's top 5 again, because at least then there's 2. Because I think Villa are good. Villa might fall. Like with Villa, you never know with Villa. Villa could maintain where they are. They could have a bad 6 weeks and suddenly be dragged into it as well. But we'll see. I'm going to jump into these super chats, boys, because there's quite a few to get through before the end of the show. And I will jump to you as well, Aidan. Mental Arsenal could be. Sorry, I would have done that one. You're right, Terry. I totally forgot. That was about the Arsenal being ahead. Delo needs to get sacked with his cousin Ruben, is what Kenny says here. Is Hamza came backstage for a period and then didn't come back. Terry, great job. Just one thing, did the milk get delivered? Because I hate to see the City boys without any milky coffee. Let's see. Wait, you were screaming for Maresca out. That didn't fix it. But in fairness, this was earlier. I'm sorry, we're only just getting around to these now, to Elijah. But Elijah was also talking about the sporting directors and the ownership not being good enough, the players not being good enough, and the manager not being good enough. And I think it's a bit like with what Sunshine said. What you can't throw at me or KJ, the same as you can't throw at Elijah, is, well, you said you wanted the manager out. But we never said sacking the manager is what's going to fix the football club. It's a deeper issue than that. Where is Hamza Terry? He needs to come on and give his weather report, and also needs to continue explaining our player stockpile. Terry, where is Quez and Kojo? Them say Chelsea will beat Fulham. Oh, I didn't know they said that.
Well, they have to say that, don't they? They've got to go on with chest.
Oh, no. Fam, it's been a wild 6 weeks in the league. It's been a crazy 6 weeks in the league. It's been a crazy six. What I was actually thinking about at the end of that City game was all those gooners, like 3 weeks ago, and it was 2 points, going absolutely mental when they were winning games. Like, I keep saying it to him, you guys have got first world problems, and it fucking annoys me. Do you know what I mean?
It's just anxiety, Terry. It's just anxiety.
Anxiety is crazy. This Chelsea always speak with passion and is here, win, lose, or draw. Chelsea's fan, and grounded in reality. Then you have deluded Don suffering from rage baitasis. You know what it is? It's not even trying to rage bait people with Don. Don, because I can't wait to speak to him on Friday, because I need to get him to give a straight answer. That's my task Friday. Straight answer. Are you back in Clear Lake? And do you think Liam Rashini is the right hire? That we just need to get that out of him. Come on, lads. Come on, you Gooners. We are top of the league, is what Scott says here. Chelsea are a collective of charlatans from the field to fan base. Pathetic behaviour ongoing a month and a half now. Ineos and Bluco have turned their clubs into Spurs.
I love how he blocks out. Like, why would you block out the
I'll bring himself to say
it. Let's cook. Egal is spitting facts. Yeah, I like seeing Egal being himself again. This Arsenal revenge of the nerd shit is going to be brutal. I like it. Redknapp says, yeah, I have read what Semenyo has said, that there's going to be a Semenyo twist. There is a, when these, do you know, I've realized as you get older, you know, when the ex-pro pundits sit on Sky Sports and say they've heard something, it's literally they've read it in the Daily Star or something. They don't know anything. They know nothing. Wouldn't that be mad though? Like 3 a.m, Ornstein bomber, like Liverpool hijack or something. That'd be crazy.
Hijack. Now that Abraham is gone, no left wing back. He's gonna.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? He sat. Yeah, he rung his agent and said, "Now I can play left wing." United have Arsenal, have 0 players in the top 20 scorers and has 8 points clear at the top of the table, with 5 goals less than City, who have the most. Victoria, who?
What?
I don't know what that's. I can't read that. I can't read that.
That might be Latin for something.
Okay, but you know, again, the one thing that Egal said earlier, which is true. We did have Van Persie score a lot of goals and Rooney scored a lot of goals when we won the Premier League in 2013. Ironically, you bought Van Persie to win the league with goals. We actually scored less goals that season than the year before. The difference was that season is nearly I think barring one player, maybe 2, every other outfield player in the squad scored that season. And when you can spread the goals, when lots of players can score goals, when you score from open play, counters, set pieces, few own goals, you're a dangerous team. You're a very, very dangerous team.
It's also that last part is Arsenal's motto. And it means victory grows through harmony, or victory grows from comes from uni.
See, again, just proof that I'm not an Arsenal fan, because I had fucking no idea what that meant.
I hadn't had one.
Yeah, those are things. It's a bit like the United way and the United did. I love watching non-United fans say it don't exist. It's like, well, it does. You fucking idiots. You just don't. But you don't. I don't need their validation. I don't even need. I'm at a point where I'm not even going to explain it to people. If you're a United fan, you don't know. You've picked the wrong club. And if you're a rival, you're not meant to know. So you're going to say something, Aidan. Sorry, I spoke over you.
Yeah, I think it was also with the Arsenal thing. It's strong defense. Strong defense wins you titles. Like the amount of you don't see Arsenal concede a lot of chances because of their strong defense. And when you don't concede goals, you're not going to lose the game. It's as simple as that.
Wait, I've just clocked something. Their motto is victory through harmony. They went through years of not being harmonious as a club, as a fan base, and they were terrible. The last few years, everything actually has been harmonious, and they look like they're finally going to win something. When people say that mottos and club cultures and DNAs don't matter, look at this.
I didn't know it was their. I didn't know it was their motto, and I'm not going to speak on it like I understand it because it's the first time I've heard it. But I felt for a long time, and I've been saying this before I even knew they had the motto, that, as you say, KJ, when the majority of their fan base is positive, they do well. It's why I want them to win the league over City, because City are my bigger rival. And why I keep imploring them to do, and I've got not an agenda against Pep, but I'd love Pep to have 2 or 3 years in the Prem with no league title. It just helps in a certain debate that's going to happen in the future. It's kind of like Arsenal, just don't try to be Real Madrid, be you. Don't try, their fans get angry, their fans smash up cars. That's not you, though. You didn't pick, you became an Arsenal fan for a reason, for its mottos and its history and the way it is and the way it behaves. So behave like Arsenal. Don't try and behave in a different. Yes, I know some good. Yeah, but we knocked down the Highbury to compete with those teams. Yes, to have more money to compete with those teams, not to literally become them. That's what I don't understand, and I'm not going to tell you what's right or wrong. I want to understand. I'm just saying I don't understand it. Terry, I think we are clapping them Liverpool cheeks tomorrow. Time to return some sort of beatdowns they gave us in the past. Yeah, I remember those Arsenal. I remember having to pull my best mate Phil off the floor. We used to live together in a big house share back then. All the lads, great days, 5, 6, 7 lads in like 8-bedroom house in East London. It was a fucking madness. We had to drag him off the floor, mate. We had to peel him off the floor in those games. Free Mainu just for him to play like Charlie Adams. I didn't think Mainu was bad. I thought he did all right. Boring, but Arsenal need to focus on themselves, not be excited or worried over what and when Man City does, what they do or who. Can't afford external notice. The thing is, though, you are right, but the players are going to know they drop points. You can't completely. When players say, I never look at the league table, fuck off. You definitely do. Chelsea crew like Quest, Ches, Kojo, etc. all want to come on and gas up the team last Sunday. They all said a guaranteed W tonight. Where are they now?
They did say that. I can pull up the tapes. I can put it up.
In fairness, Kojo and Quest have turned up a lot this year. It's Ches. Just again, no Ches. Joshua here says, to Staffy's points, that's why I disagree when folks say nothing changed. Compare this draw to the other draws. It's different because we showed intent to win the game, make positive changes every even played 2 strikers. I agree. I mean, I personally wouldn't have taken Cunha off. I wouldn't have done. I felt like him and Bruno both coming off was a little bit of an issue for us. At the same time, but I mean, Lacey's goal goes in, and we all say something different. But I like
Bruno one more just to because he's only just come back from injury.
Yeah,
right?
Listen, I've got to say about Bruno Fernandes, there is a superhuman thing in it. The man pulled a hamstring, and he's back in 10 days.
Yeah, crazy. But yeah,
I would be playing him for 90 minutes though. If you've done that.
Fletcher said from the get go he will play, but I'm on managing minutes. Same with Mount, same with Mainu. So no surprise.
Yeah. If you want change, start by affecting the sponsors like Snapdragon, DXC, and anyone who signs for a sponsor. Anyone else who signs on to sponsor, empty the pockets, cause sales. Listen, I've had these conversations many a time. There are loads of things you could do. You don't actually. I always say this: if you actually got the United fans to sit down and talk about it as a big collective. I tried organising something where you got all the big United content creators together. We launched a channel where we have these discussions and talk and try and build this up. And only Alice talks football. And one other person who I now forget said yes. All the others either didn't reply or said, I ain't working with that person. And I'm like, see, it was more about your egos than it was the club, which is a big shame. Who's going to make the money out of the channel? I was like, wow. I said I wasn't even thinking about monetizing it. I just wanted to create the channel. Crazy.
Because obviously we had the issues with our owner. And I think the benefit we had compared to what you guys have is, for us, Mike Ashley sort of saw Newcastle as like a side hustle, like a hobby kind of thing. So do you know what's funny actually? While we're talking about it, because someone was making like jokes that Newcastle couldn't even give away free half-season tickets, and then like as a joke, and people were like laughing. I'm just sat there thinking, no, hold on, listen to what this statement was. Our owner was forced to try and give away free season tickets when we're trying to get him out, and us rejecting those and not even taking them up contributed to him not getting money and then getting rid of him. So who's really laughing at this point?
Yeah, because people that if you have that season ticket, you buy a program, You buy a burger, you buy a drink, you still end up putting money into the club.
Yeah. So that contributed to him going. The problem you guys have got is, especially with the Glazers, they're making money hand over fist. And I really don't know how you're gonna it's such a sizable amount. It's almost daunting, how the amount you guys are gonna have to suffer in order for it to actually hit the bank.
You know what? Man United fans who hate the Glazers, or supposedly hate the Glazers more than anything, should be happy with what's happening right now. Because the more we tank, the more we lose money, the more likely they be like, "Bun this, I'm gone." So, what's really happening?
Yeah, you know on a financial level, though, you always get the pushback of, "But if I do it, nobody else will," or there'll be 100 people that will take my season ticket if I give it up. And I've always disagreed. But it takes bravery. And I've always disagreed because I actually think match-going fans, by and large, people have a lot of respect for them. And if the match-going fans started giving up season tickets, I don't even think you start with that. But let's say they gave up season tickets. You had all the big channels pulling together saying, don't buy the shirts, don't buy the shirts. We're outside the grounds on match days. Please don't buy the tickets. Don't go inside. We're boycotting to force them out. Of course, you're going to get some literal tourists that are not Man United fans. But I think a Man United fan from Singapore, a Man United fan from New York, a Man United fan from Lagos, a Man United fan from Sydney, Australia, they love the club as well. They're going to listen. The problem is what they see is everybody go there just money hungry. They're money hungry. They're money hungry. What are you doing this weekend? I'm going to United and I'm going to buy a new shirt while I'm there as well. And people go, well, it sends the wrong message from me. And I know people don't like it. I've had a lot of death threats over these conversations. But if you are giving money to the club, you are helping to keep the Glazers there. The problem is, I find in life, though, in general, is everybody, whether it's like kids. Kids want everything to be done for them. And I'm teaching them, you're going to put your clothes up and you are going to put them in the wash basket yourself. Or this has happened. Well, I don't like when my kids ask me for things or they want an answer. I try to make them work it out themselves to teach them stuff. That's kids. When it comes to adults, everybody wants this shining knight to come down with £10 billion and buy the club and save us. Well, how about we sacrifice some things we love to force people out of the club we love? Oh, but I might not get my seat back. I might not get this back. I might not get that back. But my question is to every season ticket holder that is scared to lose their season ticket over this is, let me ask, what would you prefer? United in this state, but you're in the ground, or you're out the ground for 10 years, but we have better owners? For me, I think being outside the ground for 10 years with better owners is better than, what Carl Pilkington said it. I'd rather live in a shithole and look at a palace than live in a palace and look at a shithole. And I think we've got to think about that a little bit. Do you know what I mean? You might be in the palace, but you're looking at shit. You're looking at shit. Do you know what I mean? Maybe it's better to be outside, which feels a bit shit, but it's great. I don't know. Look, each to their own. I'm not being horrible. I don't want an argument with anybody about it. But if you're still funding the Glazers, you are helping to keep them there. And you can moan about them. You can cry about Wilcott. You can cry about managers, players. But if you're funding it, you are a guarantee. You're an enabler of them, but nobody wants to have the conversation. The mainstream media certainly won't have it. They certainly won't. Many of us are from other clubs would give a kidney. Many of us from other clubs would give a kidney for our club season tickets. Abandoned. It's the Glazers will sell, so fans have more power than they think. Of course they do. They do have more power, but it's also a sacrifice. It's a massive, massive sacrifice. But you can't get. I probably damaged the conversation in the beginning, to be fair, because I just went in hard, basically calling everyone with a season ticket Glazers because I was angry and I shouldn't have done that. I probably damaged the conversation before it begun. But at the same time, I'm not important. I'm just. I've got a few followers on YouTube. I'm not anything special. The amount of everyone I speak to about this, and some of them I'm not going to name them because they're really good people. They just go, yeah, but I don't think it'll work. I'm like, so you're not even trying to have the conversation. And I find in life, in all circumstances, when people try and not have the conversation, that tells you you're on. I think that means you're onto something. But people don't. But at the end of the day, going to the football on the Saturday for some people, it's their main source of socializing. Ironically, I actually think if everybody banded together and boycotted and stood outside the ground or just watched the game from the local pub, still got together, but did it in a different way. I actually think they might enjoy it even more because there'd almost be a sense of like a real sense of purpose and togetherness and imagine how you'd feel once you force them out. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm sure there's ways of talking to potential buyers and saying, look, if you guys, one of the things you would say to a potential buyer is we'll help force the price down to get you guys in. But these are all our season ticket allocations where we sit. We want to guarantee from you that we get them back if you buy it. That's what I mean. There's ways you can sit down and discuss these things and kind of get a real strategy in place. But the problem is everyone just goes, won't work. So what do you mean it won't work? Let's have a conversation. There we go. Aidan, just before we leave, do you want to get your thoughts on United quickly before the end of the show, mate? Sorry it's rushed, but I've been on for 2 hours.
That's right. Yeah, I'll just keep it short. I think the main thing is with the game today is everyone's complaining we should have been more clinical, which I agree with, but it's a fact that Sesko had about 8 shots, which it shows we created chances for our striker. And when was the last time we could say that our striker had 8 chances in the game just to score? I can't remember the last time that happened. And I think now that everyone's going to say this game we drew against a relegation team, which yes that happened, but they had one shot on target. They scored 2, which one was a deflection, and I think they had 0.24 xG where we had over 2 xG. So I think Fletcher coached a game where we should have won, but it's just points in the game where I think we lacked concentration, especially with the Heaven one was a complete mystery how that ball went in from that angle. But I think we still got Mbeumo, Ahmad, all that to come back. So I think obviously January was always going to be a hard time for us with AFCON and everything. We haven't played Dorgu out on the wing, but I think when Mbeumo and Ahmad all come back, we'll see a massive jump in performance with obviously better players in different positions. But I think as long as we go along with just get along to the end of the season, we don't give it whoever comes in as an interim the job. I think the whole thing with United is we know we're a work in progress. Just keep level-headed and we just need. What I think is we just need to get Europe for a new manager to come in. But I think today it was a good performance as far as it goes. We just had to be more clinical. But yeah.
Yeah, a bit more clinical. I think Close got Anthony down with these. Again, we say that Anthony could probably take that shot another 20 times, and it probably goes over the bar each time. And we weren't that far away. But as you say, we're never. He's not going to get 8 chances like that every single game. I mean, Haaland only averages 4 shots per game in the Premier League for City, but it's about creating more of the chances Bruno created for him. I look at it and think, we should be creating one of that level every game, and then there's some half chances. And he was just a different player after that. Yes, he maybe should have had better composure with that left foot, but some of his hold-up play was better. The ball was sticking to him more. And yeah, hopefully Brighton at the weekend. I mean, I think the atmosphere will be amazing because Fletcher's there, and I think the fans will get behind him. Hopefully he can win that, and it's on to the Manchester derby, and hopefully we can put another dent. Into the City title charge. Look, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in. This is going to redirect you to Hassam's channel, people. So go and check that out over there, please. Until next time, everyone, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we're going to see you all again very, very soon. Peace.